Good morning, lovely, lovely people, and welcome to the Sewing Quarter. Now, I always need to do this first and check which day of the week it is. It's Wednesday. Here we are, a hump day. That means that we're halfway there through the week. It also means here at the Sewing Quarter today, it is bag day, which is brilliant. I know Amy, who was presenting yesterday's show, was pretty gutted that she wasn't here, but she gets to be a viewer and she gets to take part just like you, because we've got lots on the menu this morning all the way through until midday. I'm glad to say I've got two fabulous guests with me, so let's have a little run through what we're about to do for the next 4 hours. It's going to be a good one today, actually. So, bag making day. We have got wonderful Jenniffer Taylor with me right now for the first hour, and we've got a cutting mat bag to start. So it's a really, really lovely project. It's a fabulous bag as well, and 4 different combinations that you can make it from as well. It's purses, purses, purses with Jo Carter coming up at 9 o'clock, one of our best-selling purse kits coming up, which always sells out of the door. So that's at 9. At 10 o'clock, we have for you our City Shopper bag, which is wonderful. Ooh, good shopping. We like shopping, don't we? We'll be doing that with Jenniffer Taylor as well. And at 11 o'clock, Jo Carter will be back with me with a Swivel tote bag as well. So lots of projects today. So if you are ready to embark on a new bag project, today is very much the day. Listen, we love to hear from you. Our guests and our experts are here for your enjoyment and for your delectation as well. Any questions for them, you can get in touch via our website at sewingquarter.com. Of course, as always, we've got our email address, of course, which is studio@sewingquarter.com. Which is brilliant, and that's very, very easy to get a message through to little Paul, who's upstairs in the gallery at the moment, up there in the rigger. You're not getting vertigo up there, are you? You're all right? Yeah, everybody's all right so far. Tim, you all right? Yeah, good, very, very good. Mike's on the floor with me behind the cameras this morning, down on ground level, which is good. And here's the website as well, sewingquarter.com. Here we are live. You can click on watch and then drop down to the player there. And there's a little message sort of section there on the right-hand side where you can say hello with lots of O's if you like. And then just pop a message straight through to us. We would love to hear from you. So any questions for Jo or Jenniffer this morning, do make sure you get in touch. Right, okay, it's time to have a little dive into our bundles then, shall we, because we've got a wonderful cutting mat bag project. Why is that not easy to say? It's a cutting mat bag. There you go, that's better. Here it is in all of its glory. So this is the project we're embarking on this morning, and we've got 4 fabulous combos for you to make it with as well, which is lovely. The one that we are seeing right here is rather lovely, and we're going to bring the details straight in for that. This is what we're calling the chess cutting mat bag. It's just going to be a conundrum all day today, isn't it? I can just tell. Right, let's have a look at this wee bundle then first, shall we? Let's just move that one there and have a little game of chess myself as I rearrange the bundles. And there we go, checkmate, all done and dusted. Right, okay, so in your bundles, we're looking at 3.5 meters of fabric in your bundles for this bag. You are going to get 1 meter of what we're calling this lovely chest fabric. It's really lovely, actually. I have to be careful how I say chest, because that can sound like chest very easily, can't it? This is a really, really high density fabric as well. Very, very nice indeed. Lots and lots of different colours for you to pick out and coordinate with. You can see we've gone with a lovely sort of warm orange sort of palette that goes with this. It's very, very nice indeed. So you've got 1 meter of this chest fabric, and you also have a meter of the linear fabric, which is in which colour is this? Grenadine. Lovely, lovely colour. Very, very popular colour, I know, in a lot of our bundles. And then you've got 3.5 meters of solids as well. So you've got lovely port, which is deep and rich and gorgeous and goes just beautifully with that linear. You've got the Vienna orange, which is very, very nice as well. And our favourite, which is the pumpkin. Really, really gorgeous. Plus, of course, you've got the thread. Now, with this, you also get the magnetic clasp in this kit as well, which is very, very nice. You also have your iron-on interfacing, including included, and you've also got your bag of wadding. So it's a very, very comprehensive kit, this one. Now, when it comes to the handles, we've got handles separately that you can buy, but you've got enough fabric in the kit. If you wanted to make the handles from your actual kit, you could do that. So that's EVGC33, and this is the one that we have made up in the studio. We're going to be demoing with one of the other kits, but this is one that Jenniffer made up already. Lots and lots of different pockets in there as well. Obviously, the rotary cutters and bits and pieces there we've just popped in there for demo. But, I mean, it's really lovely the way this opens up completely and utterly. And you can see that magnetic clasp as well. It's just really, really handy just for securing everything there at the top. And it's a nice, neat look, isn't it? So that's your kit number one, which is very, very nice indeed. Right, which one should we go with next? Let's go with fruit and veg. Let's go with fruit and veg. I wonder if we're calling it fruit and veg. Market garden? Homegrown, we're calling it. Well, market garden, same kind of thing, isn't it, for you? So you're going to get a metre of this fabulously veggie fabric, which is lovely. So it's sort of a base colour of almost like a mossy khaki kind of colour, and then you've got lots going on there. You've got peppers and radishes and aubergines and carrots and all sorts. There's a little bit of garlic in there as well. Very, very nice. But there's no odour, which is very good. Right, OK, so you get a metre of that. You get a metre of your linear fabric there as well, which is lovely, beautiful. Oh, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous... Oh, I want to call it frog green. It's lovely, isn't it? Beautiful. I love it, love it, love it. Very, very nice. What are we calling it? Just called green. Just good old green. That's all we need, isn't it? It's lovely. And you've got your ½ metre of solids here. So we've got a lovely maize, which is lovely sort of custard yellow. We have got grass green, which is lovely, ½ metre of that. And, ooh, I want to say blackcurrant or grape. Forest fruit, even better. Ooh, I could just do a yoghurt with forest fruit in it right now, couldn't you? So there is your fabric bundle there. You're also getting your bag of wadding, plus the magnetic clasp, which is a gold tone as well, plus a lovely, gorgeous, sort of neutral stone-coloured thread, actually, which is very, very nice, and will coordinate with all those fabrics beautifully for you. £41.45 is IIGC 61, so that's bundle number 2. Again, to make the same bag as we've seen, let's go for the blue and white now, because the star one we're going to be demonstrating with in just a second, so we'll show you. We're calling this one Geo. So you're getting a metre, first of all, of this beautiful, oh, this is lovely, mesmerising fabric. And again, it's really, really quite substantial, really, really nice. Got a really sort of nice density to it and a gorgeous, bold sort of colour print there as well. So that's your metre of Geo fabric. You are also going to get a metre of your linear fabric, which in this case is this one here, which is True Red. Very, very nice, isn't it? Very luxurious. I'm thinking for clothing, for dressmaking. That would be lovely. And in your solids... actually, in this one, you get a metre in the dark blue, and you get ½ metre in the True Red linear. So it's a metre on this one of the dark blue. Now, your other two solids on this one, there is a lighter blue, and there is a Christmas red there as well for you. So you've got your True Red in your linear fabric, plus the Christmas red, plus this wonderful blue. What are we calling this lovely blue? Nautical blue. Lovely. Plus the thread, which is a deep navy blue on this one, plus the magnetic clasp, which is in a silver tone on this one, plus your iron-on interfacing, plus a bag of the wadding as well, which is brilliant. So it's a very, very comprehensive kit, this one. £38.95 is your price tag. IBGC66 is your product code. And finally, Esther, the final kit. This is the one we're about to be demoing. I'm coming. I won't be long. This is wonderful. This is going to be a great looking bag as well, and I'll show you the finished bag again in just a second, but this is wonderful. I love this fabric. It's gorgeous. It's like a lovely, rich sort of canvas. I love it. It feels great. So you're going to get a metre of your Black Stars fabric, and you've also got a metre of the linear ebony. Oh, that looks wonderful. I'd love a suit in that. That's gorgeous, isn't it? Very, very nice. You get a ½ metre of your black solid, and you also get a ½ metre of your biscuit solid, which is rather nice. And you've got a spot on in this one as well. which is lovely. It's a stone spot on. When you look at all of those together, if I just lift those up and show you them all together, what a wonderful palette of colours. They are gorgeous. Your thread, again, keys in really, really nicely with your lighter fabrics there. You have got the iron-on interfacing included. You have got the magnetic clasp in a silver tone included there as well. So that's GLGC88 is the code for that one at £40.45. Just a quick reminder that this is what we're aiming for. We're going to be doing it with the stars fabric, but remember, this is the chest fabric that Jenniffer has already made this from, and it's just gorgeous. That chest fabric, again, is really, really solid. It's got a really nice gravity to it. So that's what we're making. So, shall we? Shall we? Right, come on then. Let's take a little walk. Let's go for a little walk under the moon of love. Hello, my darling. Mwah. How are you?
Hello.
It is
good.
Gorgeous. Jenniffer Taylor. I know. Blimey. It's been a long, long time, hasn't it?
Too long.
We were just reminiscing, actually. Jen and I did our first show together. It was about a year ago now, wasn't it?
About a year ago. How weird's that?
I know. Time has just flown. Flown completely.
It's going to be the birthday soon, I'm sure.
Yes, it will be, won't it? That's gone really, really quickly, hasn't it? Good Lord.
Crazy,
How long have you been with us? Get in touch this morning, studio@sewingquarter.com. We would love to hear from you. This is a fabulous bag design.
I love it.
How achievable is it for us?
Super achievable.
Good, brilliant. That's what we like to hear.
I really like it. And also, I'm going to quickly show you how to make it your size for your cutting mat at home.
Okay, brilliant.
So I think the bag sample is a... Oh, I'm going to say it now. I think it's 21 by 18-inch mat.
Okay, right.
Don't quote me.
So
anyway,
you start with your mat then and measure that?
Yeah, so obviously if you know your mat's that size, then just go with the instructions in the book. It'll tell you how to do that. But obviously if you've got a smaller mat or a large mat or you want to make a series of bags, then I'm going to quickly cover how you would make sure your bag fits your mat at home.
So we could make mini versions of this as well. So if you're going to a class or something like that and you've got a smaller mat that you take to that.
Yeah, like a little travel mat with your ruler. And you get plenty of fabric in here to do bigger than what I'm going to show you. So, as I said, I think I'm sure it was 21 and 18 size mat, I'm sure of it.
Okay.
But you get plenty of leftover material, so there's enough there to make a big, hefty bag if you have a hefty cutting board.
Very good.
Okay.
And there's lots more you can get in there beside the cutting mat as well, by the way. I mean, there's oodles you can get into these bags,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because they
it's
open
a really
right
good workshop
out.
one. If you do workshops at home, guys, then this is definitely the bag for you. You'll be able to get everything in there. Your patterns, your fabric, and your mat, and your ruler, as well as your scissors and your rotary cutters.
You get it all in there.
Get it all in there.
Which is brilliant.
OK, so I'm just going to go grab a mat very quickly.
Alrighty.
So here we have a smaller size mat. So you can see from, if I just plonk that down straight away, this is quite a small mat for the size bag that we're making. As I said, I'm going with the instructions as per the book. So this is a little bit smaller. So you can see that this will fit in there, no problem. But if you didn't have these materials and haven't got your instructions and you want to measure it at home, first thing you need to do is obviously measure the size of your mat. So in this case, it's just short of 18 inches. And then it's just short of 12 inches. So what you need to account for here is what would be ease. So you need to make sure that it can move in and out easily, because we're going to have wadding in there, don't forget. And you also need to include a seam allowance. So I would suggest doing something like maybe 2 inches either side of your mat.
Okay.
In relation to the width of your bag. And then when it comes to the height, same again, you want to add a little bit extra on the bottom. But what you really want to do is include a decent height on the bag, because you're going to be putting a snap fastener. Okay, so give it a good maybe 4 inches on top and maybe only 2 on the bottom, and then that should be perfect for you.
Great. Okay.
So just whatever it is, whatever size bag you're going to make for, go and get the mat, measure your mat, and then that way you won't sew it up and go, oh, it won't go in.
Can't get it in.
So just check your measurements. Okay,
cool.
So once you've done that, you know that that's going to fit in. So you can make this to any size, which is what I really like about the project. So once you've done that, imagine that you've cut your rectangle to size. All we're doing here is just cutting what would be 2 triangles off the side of the mat. That's all we're doing to create that lovely shape, not only for the handles to go into here, but also the area for the snap fastening there. All I did was cut a triangle which was 6 inches down and 6 inches across, and then just went down on the 45 degree. And then what I then did is folded my fabric over and then use that as a guide to cut the rest of it. Okay, so
okay.
that's your so that's your bag template.
So all of these instructions, they're in the book, because we've taken this project from this book over here, which is a Debbie Shaw book called Sewing Room Accessories. So that's where this bag comes from. And so all the instructions are in there as well.
All in there, yeah. So the only thing that's not in there is that if you had a mat at home that's not the size, how would you do that? So that's what I've just covered off. But the 6-inch triangle, that's all in there.
Brilliant. Right. So, yes, so for actually getting the size of your mat all sorted, all you need to do on the day is just come back to the YouTube video for today's show, and just get that tuition as well. But it's always best, I think, actually, I mean, having a book is fantastic, and there are something like 15 different projects in this, which is really, really lovely. And actually, the thing about Debbie's books as well is they are very, very visual. So it's full of pictures.
I love
In fact,
that.
I'll just show you a different project for a second, which is some chair storage here, which would be a good one, wouldn't it?
That's perfect for when you're watching us.
Definitely, yes. Have everything to hand next to you. And just the coffee on the coffee table. But can you see that you've got really, really nice clear instructions that are pictorial as well as in words as well. So that's your Love to Sew book with Debbie Shaw, the Sewing Room Accessories, bless you, darling.
Sorry.
At £6.95. Now, this is likely to go today, we think, by the way. So just be aware of that. This particular project comes from there. So, right, so we cut in half and we took our triangles off.
Sorry, I'm just... you can tell winter's coming.
She's allergic to me, that's what it is.
I've just had a little sneeze. If you remember that little, like, hamster... it was me sneezing. I was holding my nose. I know you shouldn't do that. It's really naughty, but I held my nose, sorry. OK, so I'm using the linear for my lining. OK. And then I'm using the lovely star fabric for the main fabric. So you're going to need to cut out 2 of the linings. So in this case, I'm using the linear and 2 of your star fabric. And then you've probably noticed that I've already gone ahead and attached my wadding to the main fabric, and I've done that by just doing a quick tacking stitch. So I've just used a really bright coloured thread so I can see it, done a very large running stitch, so then that way it's acting as if it's one piece of fabric, so I'm just dealing with that separately. Okay, so once you've got those 2 main fabrics cut out, you just need to cut your pockets out.
Okay.
So in this case, it's 2 strips of fabric. So you get 3 colours in your kit, which is fab. So again, it's about personal preference. So you notice on my sample, I did one side in the kind of like burnt orange with the burgundy, and on the other side, I did burgundy with the orange tip instead. So you can really play around with your colours. It doesn't have to match either side, but you've got 3 colours to choose from. So have a little play around. But essentially, you need 2 strips of fabric for 1 pocket. So if you're going to do pockets on both sides, obviously you need 4 strips. Okay. Now this is 6 inches deep. However, depending on how big your bag is, your strip might vary. So for the instructions, this strip is 25 inches.
OK, but it depends on what you...
It depends on the size of your mat. So the mat size that I'm doing at the moment, sorry, the bag size, the finished cut piece, was 21 inches across. This is 25, so there's a 4-inch difference. And what that's going to give you is it's going to give you that bagging to allow you to put your tools through, like, for instance, your rotary cutter.
Yes, because it's not just one strip straight across. You've got to allow a bit of...
Allow sections. So you notice that there was a rotary cutter and a pair of scissors in my pocket, whereas those pockets aren't actually pockets, they're more like holders because they stick out the bottom, they've got no bottom on them. And then in some sections I've actually sewn a pocket in.
Actually, do you know what? I'm going to go and grab the bag. I'm going to go and grab the bag because then actually as we're referring to bits and pieces, then you can show us what you actually mean. Right, got the bag here. Okay.
So here's our pocket. So this one is a pocket.
Yeah.
You can see that I can't go to the bottom of it, whereas this one you can see there's a hole in the bottom, and you can also see that there's a bagging in there as well. So depending on your tools, you might need to allow for extra room or extra ease. So hence why there's a 4-inch difference between the bag size, the width, and the pocket size, because obviously you want to allow for that concertinering. So again, if you're making it for a specific mat at home, you're not using the instructions per se as far as the sizings, and you want to make it to bespoke for you, remember to make your pockets bigger than the size of your actual bag to allow for that. So you can see it's different on the back. So again, it's your bag. You can make as many pockets or no pockets if you like, or as many of the pockets like Derek's got his hand in at the moment, or the ones that have got the gaps in at the bottom. You can make them as much as you want,
That's
but grab
brilliant.
the tools that you're going to be using and carrying, and then you can make sure that they fit snugly.
Yeah, you've got to take into effect their width.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously your scissors would be thinner than your rotary cutter.
Very good. I'll be interested to see how we get those on then. That will be very interesting.
Yeah. So once you've got your 2 strips cut out, all we need to do is place them on top of each other. And what we're going to do is do 2 lines of stitching, one down one side, one down the other, leaving these sides open, okay? And I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance on that.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
Carol, thank you for your lovely message. She says, wonderful to see you back, Derek. Bless you. That's very, very kind of you to notice. I'm going to be here as well. You know, the weekend of the Great British Sewing Bee live down at Excel, while everyone's having fun down there, I shall be here with you looking after things here. I think we should do a live link somehow, shouldn't we?
I'd love that. That'd
down
be
to the
aces.
show. That would be amazing. I've been to Excel a couple of times. Yeah, that would be wonderful. That would be great. So, you're just doing a straight stitch along the bottom.
I am literally just doing a straight stitch all the way down the bottom. So obviously, again, the more confident you are, make sure you pin this beforehand, but I'm just going to go for it on the sewing machine. And I've decided to go with the black and the cream for my pockets. That should be nice. I might speed that up just a tad.
While you're doing that, actually, as well, I'm just going to show everyone the handles, because actually the kit itself, you've seen with the one that Jenniffer made up, there were handles on there. Now, there aren't handles in the bundles, but we have the handles here separately. So depending on which bundle you're going for, obviously will dictate which strap you go for. So we've got the beige cotton bag strap there as well, which is a 3-metre strap. That is a lot of strap, actually, isn't it? 3 metres. How much would you, in reality, use of that 3 metres for this bag?
You probably, maybe only one of them, 1 metre.
Oh,
just shy of 1 metre.
So that's going to be great for other projects and other bits and pieces that you will be doing anyway.
Yeah, it depends on how big you want your handles on your bag, whether you prefer to hold your bag or have it over your shoulder. You might want to allow for a little extra.
Yeah.
But again, as per the instructions, I'm pretty sure it's something like 25 centimetres.
Let me just show you, because Jenniffer's used this actual strap in the finished bag. And yeah, I'm not even sure if it's half a metre even, which is brilliant. Very, very good indeed. Nice, strong as well. £5.95. I've got 2 other colours to show you as well, because if you want to go for whoa, like in this very, very bright pink we've got going on here. I'll just bring the details in for this. Again, for this one, it is 3 metres in length. This might be nice, actually. Well, it would work with the sort of chest set that you made the original with, but it would also key in rather nicely with the Geo as well, actually. It might key in really, really nicely with the Geo as well. So OKPH12 is 3 metres of that one. And one more to show you, and then I'll shut up again, I promise. We have got the red, and the red would go in. I'm just looking at a quick squiz over at the bundles now. It would go really nice with the chest. It would go really nicely with the Geo. It would go really nice with the
veg, I think.
Yeah, the veg one as well, because there's beetroots and all sorts in there.
Well, it depends on whether you want to if you're going to do the star one, whether you want that pop of colour as well. So I'm actually thinking red with the stars.
Let's check it out with the fabric, shall we, and see. Let's check it out with the fabric and see, shall we?
Oh, I do like a play.
Yeah, you could. That could work really nicely, couldn't it? The 2 colours working, against each other there. Like it. Actually, so far, red's most popular. So you've got your 3 different options there. You'll find them all on the website as well under us if you're watching us live. Details on the screen for the red one at the moment. They're all the same price, so £5.95 for the red, or £5.95 for the pink, or £5.95 for the beige, which Jen has used on the make with the chest bundle. Not the chest bundle, the chest bundle. Oh, right. OK, any questions, by the way, along the way,
yes,
do get in touch. studio@sewingquarter.com.
Right.
No question too silly.
Need the ironing board, my doll.
Right, okie dokie. Here's where I get to do a bit of useful stuff. A little bit of useful stuff. Let's make sure I'm switched on. I'm not sure if we're on. Yeah, we're on. We're on and ready to go.
So we've sewn our 2 lines of parallel stitching on our raw edges. So we're just going to turn this inside out. A bit like a pillowcase. Okay. So we have our tube of fabric. So this is where we start getting, need to make a decision really on which side we want to see, because we're going to be pressing it. Now, you notice on the sample bag, we've just got that, you've got the main fabric and then you've got that hint of colour, and all you're literally doing is rotating the fabric until you find what you want. So in this case, it would be with the cream piping and black pocket, or you've got your cream pocket with black piping. So that's the only difference. So you've just rolled it. If, for instance, you don't want that at all, then you just need to push the seam up, so then you have just a plain pocket. Do you see what I mean? But I quite like that little extra bit of detail.
That's great. It looks brilliant, and it's really, really simple to achieve as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all the difference is. So it doesn't matter which way you press it, you'll have two different effects, which is why I like to do the reverse on the other side.
Yeah,
you know
yeah. Would you finger press it first to get your evenness?
No, so all I'm doing
just
here is kind of teasing the seam in the inside of the tube one way, because what you don't want is it to be twisting as you go. So if you can try and make sure it's pressing to the dark side, in this case, so I'm making sure that my seam is pushing up into what would be that black binding effect that we're creating. And then you're going to give it a little press. But the one thing I want to do is just check that I'm getting a nice even banding. So I'm going to use my little ruler there. So I'm going to use a 1 centimetre binding. So you might want to go ahead and do this in ahead of time, maybe and pin it. But for speed, I'm just going to do it quickly, like so.
Those colours actually work really
They're
well
really
together,
good,
don't
aren't
they?
they?
Yeah, it's really quite smart, isn't it?
I mean, there's a lovely polka dot in there, but I wanted to go striking with the solids. But you have got a nice choice of the polka dot in there as well. So I'm just doing the rest by eye, guys, but obviously at home, take your time, use your ruler. Okay, so that's that bit done. And then obviously you need to repeat the process on the other side, because you don't want a baggy pocket, do we? So I'm just going to quickly go ahead and press in that lower crease as well.
Love it.
Okay, that's it. Bish, bash, bosh.
Oh, got a little warning about the book for you. I'll just bring you the details again very, very quickly, because this project is in this book. We're not just randomly throwing this book in. This bag is in this book, so the project is coming from here. It's the Sewing Room Accessories book by Debbie Shaw. We've got a lot of those in baskets at the moment. I don't nag about baskets, as you know, but make sure you check it out, because it's a brilliant, brilliant resource. What's our price on that? £6.95, which is certainly not the cover price I'm seeing on the back of this book, which is brilliant. And in other words, you're paying less. You're paying less than the cover price, which is brilliant, which is always good, isn't it? Really, really good. There are 15 projects in there, and so that works out. Paul's even worked that out scientifically, because you know he likes his calculator. Works out at 47 pence per project.
Oh, perfect.
I know, the projects are really, really good, and they're really, really many and varied as well. There's a tool roll there that I've just randomly opened at, but this project is in there as well. So MTSP62.
That would be it. I know it's a Sewing Room Accessories. I'm already eyeing that up as a makeup bag.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I mean, and you can put your brushes in the side, or your makeup brushes.
That's a good idea, because you should see the state of mine.
Exactly.
Well, you did this morning, didn't you? It's
well,
just like a wig wash
it's handy,
bag.
Isn't it? Because you're digging through your makeup bag to find your brushes, where if they're handily on the side.
Yeah.
Bish, bash, bosh, done.
Do you know what that would do as well? That would encourage you to clean them more often as well, wouldn't it?
Oh, I did that the other week. Oh, isn't it a nightmare cleaning out your brushes?
It is.
Sometimes I'm just like, why not just go get
even
some
I
more?
feel this pain, because I have to wear a bit of makeup as well.
Some more. Anyway, okay, so here we have
Get some more. They're like 30 quid each.
I know, but it's a pain. You're waiting for them to dry out as well, aren't you?
That's
Take
true.
Forever.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so here we have our lovely black with our cream piping. Or if we flip it over, we have our cream with black piping.
We've got another channel on the go, by the way, there.
Have we?
Yeah, the guys up at the gallery were just talking about it. There's a makeup channel for us to start.
Oh, is there?
Do you know what I mean?
Are there tools for that?
Yeah, well, yeah. Got to be, isn't there?
Okay, so I'm going to bring in my main fabrics. This is the front, the one that you're going to see, because obviously our linear is our lining.
Right.
So again, it's just about playing with what you think looks best. Obviously, you would have done that ahead of time. So I'm just having a little look now. Do I want cream or black or? Oh, hello. That looks pretty cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the one.
I think that's the one for me.
Yeah.
So as you can see, this is a lot bigger than my bag, isn't it? And that's that's the point, that because you want to concertina it up
for your pockets.
as you would.
Yeah.
So it's about getting that in the right position. So again, I'm just going to take my ruler, or you take measure at home, and I'm going to measure 2 inches from the bottom. I'm going to place that there. So I am going to pin the one section in first, like so. And then I'm just going to make sure that I've got a little mark here. So I'm going to, sorry, 2 inches. I'm going to get my water pen and just make a mark this side. And the reason being is because I'm going to be concertinaing this up until I get to there. So I don't want to pin that section in yet.
Okay, right, yes, yeah.
Okay, so now it's about having a little play. So let's say we're going to have...
Do you want a tool?
Yeah, let's have some tools.
Have a tool. Have a
rotary cutter.
A rotary cutter.
Okay, so what I would suggest at home is try not to put one of your, like a tool back pocket close to the edge. So I would suggest making that a pocket first. So again, I'm just going to get my pin. I reckon a nice sized pocket, so let's go there. Okay, so that's the first bit.
Yep.
So now I'm going to do my rotary cutter pocket, I think. So if I just pop that in, and then you can just play around with how snugly you want that to fit.
And how wide it needs to be.
And how wide that needs to be.
Yeah.
That's better. That's a good size. So that's that bit done. And again, just repeat that on the other side on the bottom. So you get the idea, don't you? So this is your cutting mat. So you might have a menagerie of tools, and all you need is a couple of pockets. But again, just make sure you leave, even if it's not going to be a full-size pocket like this side, give it at least an inch away from that raw the raw edge, and then that way just gives it a bit more stability. Okay. And then you just keep going. So this time I might go grab my scissors. So this one's going to be quite thin because I don't want my handles to fall through the bottom, obviously.
And that's really good, actually, because, again, scissors directly down in a pocket would ordinarily, that would wear through a pocket. Anything with a point on the bottom eventually is going to wear through a pocket, isn't it?
Exactly.
So if you've got an open space there...
An open space on the bottom,
then you haven't got that worry, have you?
Okay, so just keep going along until you're happy with your pocket pieces. So, again, this is going to be tailored to you and your needs.
Can I just tell you something?
Yeah.
You're depriving someone of sleep.
Why?
Because Pauline in Lincolnshire, she's just finished working nights, but she can't sleep through bag day.
Bless you, darling.
Stay right where you are.
Go get a coffee.
Yeah, extra coffee. Just a couple of hours, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Okay, so once you've got your pockets in place, again, how many pockets you have will vary depending on what you're doing at home.
Yeah.
What you might want to do is go in with either a chalk, but basically a ruler, and draw your lines just to make sure that they're not going off. Unless you want your pocket like that, obviously, for whatever. There might be a tool out there that needs to be in that position.
Where it comes,
again, it doesn't matter. But if you want it to be, especially if you're going to go with a contrasting thread, I would draw in your stitch lines ahead of time, just as a little tip, just to make sure your stitches are nice and straight.
And that's a good idea, because even you as the expert, look, there's a difference between where that pin is and where that pin is.
This is very true. Now you've made me do it now.
That's okay. No, because that's okay, because if the experts do it, that means that it's fine. The rest of us can do it as well.
I was doing it by
But it's worth double checking, even.
So that one wasn't no. That one was.
Oh, the rest was spot on. You know, 2 out of 3 is not bad, as they say. Do you know what? Can I tell you how popular these straps are as well? They're very, very popular indeed. Remember, we have 3 different colours for you this morning. I think it's the beige that's proving the most popular, is it? Or is it the red still in the lead at the moment? If everyone's checking out their baskets on this one, the beige is currently in front. And this is the one that Jenniffer used for her original make, using the chess fabric bundle, which is lovely. And out of the 3 metres you get in one of those packs, it's not even half a metre to actually finish off the handles for this bag, as she's made it here. Obviously, you might want to make it a longer. You might want to make it a longer sort of shoulder strap if you want to, or even crossbody. You can also, with this bundle, use the red one if you like as well. The red is the second most popular at the moment. Again, I'll bring you the details in for that. It's 3 meters of this strap. It's 100% cotton as well, isn't it? I think this one, yeah. It's washable as well, which is really, really good. And you can see there, actually, they've given you a little diagram of the different uses for this. So you're making bigger bags there with double straps, or more of a satchel-style bag, which will go over the shoulder, or even like a rucksack kind of style. 3 meters here you've got to work with at £5.95, and there's one more colour to show you, which is the pink. So I'll bring you the details for the pink there as well. This is lovely, and they are very, very strong, very, very strong indeed. If you think about, sometimes you'll have chinos and clothing that have belts that are made of this kind of... in fact, the belt that I'm wearing actually is not too far. It's not this colour, but it's not too far away, the density of this cotton strap there. So again, £5.95, and it is 3 meters, and you've got 3 different colours to choose from: the pink, the red, and the beige. Right, okay, in the meantime, back at the machine... We've got our pockets sorted,
so I've just sewn one big large pocket in there just to save some time. I'm going to walk you through how to do that on the machine.
Alrighty.
So in this case, because I'm not sewing in a traditional pocket, it's the one with the hole in the bottom.
Yes.
I'm going to go in from... I'm going to come away from the edge, and there is a reason why I'm doing that. So let me just get this underneath. So I'm not sewing right at the very edge of my pocket.
Okay.
Because I'm going to kind of do a sort of box shape. You can see on here where I've gone across the bottom there. So rather than do all that detail right there, I'm going to leave that till the very last bit. So I'm going to start up a little bit first. So I'm going to go up towards my binding, or my fake binding as I'm calling it. Okay, and you want to sew towards that line. Now I'm choosing not to actually sew into the binding. I'm just falling short of it. So I'm almost stitching in the ditch at this point. I'm going to lift my foot up and rotate across. And then I'm going to stitch a couple of stitches. So that was 3. 3 stitches. 2 stitches will be fine. But what we're basically doing is giving that pocket a little bit more stability where you're coming in and out of the pocket. Whereas if you just sew up and down, you haven't got that security.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
It's more likely to come undone, and we don't want that. We want your tools bag to last long.
Yeah, because this is it's more of a utility bag as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So things are forever in and out of it. So it's not like a bag for show. It's a bag for function, this, isn't it?
Exactly. So this is where you have to be very careful. So whatever you did at the top, you need to do again at the bottom. So it's 3 stitches, so you really need to take your time with that.
Right.
Once you've stitched the 3 stitches, then you should be able to go back up the way you came and almost, stitch over your original stitch line. So if you do that for a couple of, maybe about half an inch, if that, and then you can then come away from the work. So I'm using the handy cutter tool to do that.
Yeah.
So you can see that it's going from the bottom all the way up towards the binding, coming back down and meeting it. So it's all one continuous line.
That's really good. And actually, when you get those really, really nice sort of trendy black denim jeans and whatever, and they have these really strong stitch lines in them, that's given it that same kind of appearance, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you use the black, thread, obviously you won't see it, but while you've got the coloured thread, it's nice. So I'm going to show you now how to sew in a normal pocket.
Okay.
So then I've covered both off for you.
Alrighty.
So because we're at the raw edge, I am going to just go down once on this side. It's more of a tacking stitch because when I sew the bag together, that will be your double stitch. So just don't worry about that too much. So make sure you do that within the seam allowance, which is what I'm doing now. So I'm just coming down towards the edge.
Straight through. She's on fire this morning.
Straight through. Bop, bop. Okay, so that's that one done. So now I'm going to come up towards my mark. So in this case, it's my pin. But obviously, again, at home, if you've used your marker, it's what you're going to be working towards. So I'm just going to move that out the way slightly so I don't break the machine. There we go. So now this is where I'm going to come up. So again, I'm lifting the foot, the press foot, rotating the work, and I'm sewing towards my pin, which is towards the top part of the binding. So again, I'm going to work towards the binding. I don't really want to sew into the binding, so I've just short almost where it joins together, so the ditch, if you like. I'm rotating again, so this is where you need to count your stitches. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. So it could be 2 at home. I'm just using 3.
Yeah. It's just easier to see, isn't it?
Yeah, and then I'm going to come back down. So try and use the guide that you've just sewn as, the line you've just sewn as a guide to try and keep your stitching as straight and as parallel as possible. So I'm trying to take my time because I want to try and make sure that this meets up.
Yeah.
That looks good. Rotating round, and again, you're going to continue sewing back the way you came a couple of stitches. So again, about 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
So you want to be drawing over your original line with your machine. So I'm stitching about 1/2 inch over.
And then stopping.
And then stop it. So that 1/2 inch of stitching is almost creating a locking stitch anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not going backwards. And the reason why is because I don't want to risk going off that line.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing when I'm going forward. It's hard to see what you're doing when you're going backwards.
Yeah.
So rather than using your reverse stitch, sew over the stitch about 1/2 inch. Or if on your machine you have one of your little knotty tools, use that instead.
Oh, a knotty tool. I like the
A
sound of
little
that.
knotty tool.
Listen, just before, because we've still got lots more to see and plenty of time to do that, which is brilliant, but I just want to have a quick whiz through all of the different bundles. Remember, this is the finished bag that we're heading towards right now, and we've got 4 different fabric bundles to do that, so we're going to look at them one by one, starting with this one, which is the chest bundle, which is altogether, it's 3.5 metres of fabric, by the way, in it, and you've got the wadding and the iron-on interfacing and the thread, and you get the magnetic clasp with it as well. So here is the fabric bundle for that. So it's 1 metre of the chest, it's 1 metre of the linear fabric on this one, which is grenadine. You've got 1/2 metre of the porch, you've got 1/2 metre of, there's a different orange there as well, isn't there? Pumpkin, and 1/2 metre of the, which is the Vienna. That's it. Brilliant. OK, so that's that one, EVGC33. Let me show you the other bundles that we have as well. So the one that we're actually demoing with right now is called Black Stars. So I'll bring you the details in for that one. So it's 1 metre of the Black Stars fabric. Plus, again, you get, it's 1 metre of the linear fabric, I think, in this one, isn't it? Which is lovely. You've got the Stone and Biscuit, I think, as well, the solids in this one. Oh, ebony is the linear. Then you've got a black. You've got a stone spot on. And there's a biscuit there as well. You can see this in more detail on the website, by the way, if you're looking. GLGC88, that's for the one that we're doing right now. Now, the next one we're going to show you is actually the most popular this morning so far, which is the Geo. And the fabric on this is just beautiful. It really is lovely. It's got a gorgeous sort of canvas texture to it and a real nice density. It's beautiful. And it's almost mesmerising, isn't it? With that one, again, you get 1 metre of the Geo fabric. You get 1 metre of the dark blue on this one. You get a nautical blue. There's a true red, Christmas red, and a true red, one of which is linear, £38.95. So IBGC66. The most popular comes with the wadding, the interfacing, and the clasp. The only thing these kits don't come with is the straps. We give you the choice of colours on those, as we've seen already in this hour. And here's the last one, which is, I want to call it Market Garden. It's actually called Homegrown, that's it, with all the veg on there. Homegrown, so you get 1 metre of the homegrown, you get 1 metre of that green linear, and there's 3.5 metres of solids there as well. You get a lovely forest fruits, there's a grass green, and there's a sand, is it? In that one? Maize, that's the one, the yellow one. Again, the wadding and the interfacing and the clasp and the thread is included there as well. £41.45. Right, lovely. Oh, and half the stock of this book has gone already. We had a big number of these books as well, actually, when we started this morning. I remember looking at the number and thinking, oh, well, that'll see us through the morning. And 45 minutes later, well over half of these have gone already. Now, this bag project comes from this book. That's the reason we're showing you this book in this hour. It's the Sewing Room Accessories book by Debbie Shaw. In fact, I must find the page where the project is in just a second as well. £6.95. Over half the stock has gone. If you've got this in your web basket, can I urge you to check out, because actually, compared to the cover price, because I can see obviously on the back of the book there's a cover price and the ISBN number and everything else, and you are saving versus the price of this book would be if we picked it up in a bookshop and paid the price on the back. There you go, which is brilliant. Really, really good. Now, I've just got to find the bag and I shall Give the show back to you, my darling.
Right.
Where have we got up to?
Okay, so all I've done now is just trimmed off the excess pockets. So again, depending on what you've done, you don't have to use the whole fabric. So if you're happy with the pockets you've got, just trim it off to size. Okay, so that's done. So before we start making the bag, we need to attach our fastenings. Now this needs to be done on the lining. So this is, I've used the lovely linear. So
now,
it's
this
not
is what
the
I
main
want to see.
This is not the main fabric, okay?
Right.
This is the inside of the bag.
Yeah.
And I've actually gone ahead and interfaced the whole thing.
Okay.
If for whatever reason you don't want to do that, you will need a small square about 2 inches in the area that you're going to put your fastening in to give it some support.
Right, okay.
But the reason why I've interfaced the whole thing is because I just want that bag to have a little bit more structure. We've got our wadding to help protect our mats or cutters or whatever's inside the bag already, but this is just to give it a bit more structure.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm going to turn this over. So at the top, you need to fold your fabric in half because we need to find out where the halfway point is. And I'm just going to do a quick finger press just for speed so I know where that's going to be. So once you've done that, so I'll just put a little line of mark so you can see where that fold is. That's the centre point. So now you need to measure down around sort of 2 inches. That gives you enough space to do your sewing later and you're not going to catch anything. Okay, so I've gone 2 inches down, so I'm just going to do a little circle. Okay, so there's my first point. Now it's about getting your physical clasps. So we've got 2 parts. You've got your male and female part of your clasps, and you've also got the washers on the back. Now, these are the important bits. This is going to give you your stability when you're opening and closing your bag.
Right.
So I'm just going to use one of these washers for now. It doesn't matter which because they're both exactly the same. And I'm going to put the circle part of the washer in the circle mark that I've made. I'm then going to take my water eraser pen and make 2 marks, like so. I'm going to move this out of the way so I don't lose it. And now I'm going to use my scissors, or you could use your own pick if you like, but just be careful. You just need to make 2 little snips, like so. So you've made 2 holes in your fabric, okay? So now it's about taking the main part of your magnetic clasp, putting it through the right side of the fabric through the hole, so the teeth are going to go through the holes, so you can see that now, okay? And then you're going to take your washer, pop that on top, and then you're just going to fold these over. Now, you can do this by hand. If not, just grab a spoon or something just to fold it back, but you can do it by hand. And once you've done it, that's it. Done.
Oh, do you know? I thought we were sewing. I thought there was a lot of technical doodah.
It's a no sew. So once you've popped, made 2 little incisions in the fabric, push the teeth through, put your washer on, bend them back, bish bash bosh.
And that's why you've put some extra support around the area.
If you're not going to do the whole thing like I have, I would definitely suggest just popping a little bit of interfacing in that area. And even if you haven't got any interfacing, just use some leftover scrap of fabric.
Let me show you on the made bag as well. Just lost my page there as well, but never mind. This is more important for now. Let me show you the magnetic clasp on the finished one as well. So you've used exactly the same method for this one as well, which is brilliant. They are very, very strong, actually, and they locate themselves pretty quickly on their own, so they don't really need a great deal of help, which is good, because that's what you want. But again, there's plenty of support, because you've got both layers of the fabric, haven't you? You've got the lining fabric, and you've got the fabric on the outside, so you've got plenty of support to hold those clasps. The clasps do come with the bundles as well, by the way, which is really, really good. Some are gold tone, some are silver tone, which is really, really nice. Now, I've got to find the project again. So, where are we?
So, now we're into the point of constructing our bag. So, first of all, we need to grab our handles. And I'm going to go back to my main fabric. Okay. So, the trick with the handles, because you don't want these to be twisted, you want them to lie nicely in your hand.
Yes.
Okay. So I would lie it flat. Now, this needs to go into the corner. So remember, with this originally was a triangle, a rectangle, sorry, but we've taken a triangle off the fabric. So you're placing your strap right up against where it starts becoming into that triangular shape, and you're going to place a pin. Okay.
Look at that combination. That's just
nice,
magical,
isn't
it?
It's lovely. So rather than trying to wing it, I always go with right turn. So I'm going to turn my handle once, and then I'm going to turn it back on itself again. So you can see I've got 2 little angles, and then that way I know it's going to be nice on the handle.
Do you know what that explains? You know when you buy a bag and you have to kind of play with the handles a bit, especially if it's a leather or a pleather, you need to kind of, if it's a flat handle, you need to kind of work it a little bit,
because they would have pressed it into that
that's how they've done it.
Okay, so then that way you just know that it's going to be right both sides. Okay, so again, the main thing here is that to give it a nice, clean, when you've turned it out, that your handles are in the right position, they need to be butting right up before it goes into that triangle shape. Okay, once you've done that, we're ready to go. So, now it's about bringing in the lining. So you need to put right sides together.
Yep.
And line them up. Now, I've used really long pins so that I know that the heads are completely out of the way there, and they're not really in my seam allowance, so I'm okay to sew over these, okay? But if you're worried at home, then you can always just take them out, okay? So I'm going to pin those in first, those corners first, the all-important corners. Okay? And then I'm going to just pin these corners here. Now, what you're going to be doing, you're not sewing around the whole thing. You're only sewing in the... it looks like a house, doesn't it? You're only sewing in the roof, okay? Not these corners at all. So it's just from here, all the way up, all the way down, and that's it. Not this part, not that part.
Right. The details you see on the... Oh, well, you did see on the screen just a moment ago, by the way, the most popular strap that we've got, and you buy the strap in 3-metre lengths. And that's $5.95. So again,
plenty for other projects.
Give us a call if you need the details or anything. Just give us a call. 0800 112 4433. You can also buy in pink. You can also buy in red as well. Now, most popular by far is the beige because we're using it on the make right here. But very close behind is the red. And you remember you buy it in 3-metre lengths. For this project, you only need about half a metre, don't you?
Just over half a metre.
Yeah,
so if you say half a metre just for...
Yeah. Fabulous.
Cool.
Right, so across the roof we're going.
Across the roof we're going. So this is where you're sewing your straps in. And we are going to top stitch the top of it as well. We might not get a chance to do that, but at home you will top stitch. So don't worry if you thinking, oh, that strap's not going to be able to hold the weight. It will, because you'll be going over with a top stitch at home. We've
got just over a minute in time-honoured tradition.
We can do it.
Sorry, I should have given you some warning, shouldn't I?
We can do it.
We can do it. If anyone can, you can. Very durable, those scissors.
Right, so that's that bit done.
Yep.
Okay, so once you've sewn those together, you need to repeat that on the other side. So again, whether you're doing pocket straps, whatever, you repeat the process. So this is where you need to open it out and sew your two pieces together. So I've already gone ahead and done that for you. So you're opening out your bag and you're sewing the bases together. It's very clever. So think about the square.
Yeah.
And the square of the other piece. You're lining those up, and this time you are sewing where the body of the house meets the roof.
Yes.
Down around the base of the house and back up to again where the roof meets the body of the house.
Alrighty.
And repeat that again on your lining, but this time leave a gap. You need to leave a gap to be able to turn it inside out.
As they say, bag it out.
Bag it out. And that's what I really like about this, is that it's all enclosed seams. There's no rough edges on the inside. It's a really nice, clean finish. So if we just bring this in before we finish, and then hopefully that will explain it for you. So if I open that out and take our mat out, you can see how we've got a really nice, clean finish on the outside and then the inside. That's because the lining and the main have been sewn separately and then turned inside each other.
Well, do you think
it's not complicated?
Do you think if I nip off over there and go through the kits, do you think you might be ready to bag out by the time I get back?
Go.
Do you think? Right,
yes,
right. Come on, come with me then. Come with me. Sorry, mad dash. Right, so we've got the details of the chest cutting mat bundle on the screen for you. EVGC 33, which is a metre of this lovely chest fabric. It's also a metre of the linear fabric on this one, isn't it, which is grenadine. You do get the porch, you get the, what do we call it, Vienna, and the pumpkin as well, plus the thread, plus the gold tone clasp, plus the iron-on interface, plus a bag of wadding there as well. £41.45. Now, that's the one that Jenniffer had pre-made before the show, so we've been seeing it all the way through the show. Very, very popular indeed. The one she is making with, we'll show you the stars. Now, this is a metre of the Black Stars fabric, which, again, is just beautiful. In this one, you get a metre of the ebony, I think it's called, isn't it, the linear fabric. Half a metre of the black solid. You've got a spot-on biscuit, and you've got stone there as well, plus the interfacing, plus the thread, plus the clasp as well. So that's that bundle. Let's do Geo now. Let's do Geo, which is the most popular this morning. So that's a metre of the Geo fabric, which is wonderful. The main body fabrics, by the way, are so dense, they're beautiful. You also have in this one your half metre of... Oh, no, is it the navy you get a metre of on this one? So you get a metre of the navy blue. You also get a half metre of the linear fabric there, which is... I forget the name of that one, actually. It is true red, isn't it? Because there's Christmas red as well, plus the nautical blue, plus the clasp and the thread and the interfacing and the wadding as well. And one more, market garden, as I like to call it. We're calling it homegrown. That's it, homegrown, I've remembered. So you get the veg fabric, you get a metre of the veg fabric, you get a metre of the grass green linear, you've got your maize and your green, and your forest fruits as well, plus the gold tone clasp, plus the thread, plus the interfacing, plus your wadding as well there as well. IIGC 61. And don't forget the book. Don't forget the Debbie Shaw book as well, where the project comes from. It's called Sewing Room Accessories, and it really is fantastic. And well over half the stock has sold out and gone this morning already, which is brilliant. We have got a grand total of 40 seconds left in this hour.
I'm done!
Jenniffer Taylor, she's done it.
She's done it.
She's done it, and we're going to bag out
of
a fashion.
There's our rectangle sewn there. There's our rectangle sewn there with the gap. I'm bagging out.
This is the magic bit. This is the bit we all love. Love it, love it, love it.
Oh, so obviously at home you would need to give it a nice press. Take your pins out. Oh, look at those corners, lovely. Right, just popping that inside.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Love it. Look at that. Brilliant. Love it, love it, love it. Right, you're back with us in an hour with another bag. Yeah. Hooray, fantastic. Stay where you are, because I am back with you in around about 3 minutes' time with Jo Carter in the next hour. Purses, purses, purses. So you better have your purse at the ready, because I think you'll probably be buying as well. So stay right where you are. Any more questions, of course, studio@sewingquarter.com. And I'm back with Jo Carter in just a couple of minutes from now.
Follow us on Pinterest. Search for our Sewing Quarter page and follow us to discover sewing work we create and love. There are many different ways you can buy from us here at the Sewing Quarter. You can order from us by calling our free phone number at 0800 112 4433 and talk to the team at our UK-based call centre. Alternatively, there are other ways you can buy from us. You can go online and shop through our website at www.sewingquarter.com. You can even watch the show there and shop as you go. You can check out as many times as you like throughout the day and only pay a small fee of £2.95 postage and packaging for the whole day. We also offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all products excluding custom-cut fabric. Our friendly UK-based team will help guide you through every step.
Hone your dressmaking technique this Friday as Paul Clark demonstrates 2 lovely handmade pieces. His first project, a gorgeous kimono jacket, brings a classic shape bang up to date. Versatile and on trend, this jacket can be mixed and matched to suit all seasons and almost every occasion. Following the success of his last shirt making demonstration, Paul will then show us how to make a fabulous novelty boys shirt. With some colourful fabrics on hand, Paul will share his top tips, tricks and techniques in his usual warm and witty style. So, join us and Paul Clark on Friday the 8th of September at 9 AM and 11 AM, only on Sewing Quarter, Freeview Channel 78. This weekend, Jo Carter's famous soft toys make their eagerly awaited return, featuring some familiar favourites and new faces. Saturday sees Jo's Budgie Buddies take centre stage as she shows us how to make our own chirpy pair in brand new colour options. Then she'll turn her hand to a range of delightful Tilda creations with a sneaky appearance from this colourful fox. On Sunday, Jo's back with even more marvellous makes. In a brief break from soft toy making, she'll demonstrate a fabulous feather cushion created by fellow designer Jo Avery. Then, Jo will demonstrate an adorable Dachshund-inspired sausage dog toy, brand new to Sewing Quarter, and a real treat for the dog lovers amongst us. So, tune in at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. on Saturday the 9th and at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. on Sunday the 10th of September for these Jo Carter specials only on Sewing Quarter, Freeview Channel 78.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Sewing Quarter. It just occurred to me that quite a few of you will think, well, who's he? He's not John. He's definitely not John. The shirt is far too quiet for it to be John. And it's definitely not Tash because he's definitely too short to be Tash. And he's not Amy because his hair's too short to be Amy. I'm Derek. It's lovely to meet you, by the way. And I'm standing in today for everyone. For everyone else that can't be here, I'm here instead today. It's lovely to have your company here at the Sewing Quarter. I have been around a long, long time with the Sewing Quarter, actually, in the background, in the project, and honestly, it's fantastic. We are like one big family going on here. Jenniffer Taylor will be back in an hour's time, and we are looking at, it's a shopper bag, I think, in an hour's time, isn't it? I think something like that, isn't it? This hour, we're talking about purses. Purses, 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 because there are 5 different options going on here. In fact, here's one of the finished makes that Jo has already made this morning, which is very, very nice. In fact, as you're looking at that one, let's start with the clasp for that one, with the lovely red bubbles on the top. I love this. This is very, very good. So I'll show you the fabric bundles in just a second, but I'm going to show you the purse clasps as well first. So this is what we call the bag fastenings. So it's a prim brass colour bag fastening. I see what's going on here. This is how we attach the fabric to the frame. Oh, I get how this works. I haven't seen this before, actually. It's very, very good. So that's one's £4.95. Oomph 03. Oomph 03 is your details. So that's nice and easy to remember. Let's go for the smallest one next. This is Diddy. This is beautiful. This is a little change purse, isn't it, this one, I think? This is one to have in the car with the, you know, the parking fund in it. Everyone needs one of those, don't they? Again, it's a lovely brass colour fastening. Very, very strong. Very, very strong indeed. Listen to this. That snaps really, really firmly and securely into place. So that's LGPH59. Let's go for the one with the little diamantes on it, which is really, really cute. So, so sweet. Very Victoriana, this one, actually. Very vintage looking. I like this one. It's got a real nice sort of instant vintage going on to it, isn't it? Lots of sort of filigree work going on. And you see, look, got those cute diamantes there at the top. This is an antique brass. And again, let's check out the snap, shall we? Listen. Oh, now then. That was business, wasn't it? That was business. Love it. Very, very nice. Right, let's go next for this one next to me, which is a darker, deeper, richer tone, actually. It's almost like a titanium tone, this one, actually. Very, very classy. Very, very nice indeed. And again, let's check out some snap action, shall we? Listen. Oh, now then. Liked it. Very, very nice. Very, very secure. Very, very nice. So that's £5.50. It's an antique silver, we're calling it, actually. I'll call it slightly more a titanium kind of look, actually. It's much deeper than a silver, I would say. AQPH56. Just one more left, which is the biggest one, actually. This would be like a clutch, I think, wouldn't it, really? I know you have to sort of imagine the rest. It's a bit like mime, isn't it? Like elaborate mime, this, isn't it? Imagine a lovely bag here. So this is the largest one that we have, actually, and this is antique brass colour again. Should we check out a bit of snap action here as well? Listen. Oh, yes. Very, very nice indeed. See, the smallest things amuse me. Smallest things amuse me. So that's BTPH83. Right, OK, so all we have to do now is go through our fabric bundles, and then I will run over to Jo Carter, and we'll get started. In fact, should we start with the one that we made up here as well? Let's go here. So it's ½ metre of each fabric, by the way, which is more than enough to make a purse. And you get the instructions. Of course, you'll need one colour for the lining and one for the outside. So that's this one, the blue and the red, which is ½ metre of your spot-on. which is, what's this one called? Like bright red. It's like a strawberry red, actually. It's very, very nice indeed. And you also get half a metre of your blue sea there as well. £10.95 for a whole metre, which is brilliant. I love that. So 2 half metres, one of each. So that's the red and the blue, plus the instructions, which they're our instructions as well. Remember, we're a magazine business, so our instructions are very, very clear. It's words and pictures that are very, very clear indeed. Right, let's go for, I think I recognise this colour as maize. I think, possibly. This is blue and yellow. Obviously, you get 2 fabrics. One for the outside. Oh, this is bright yellow. Well, it's slightly brighter than the maize. So you've got your spot-on marine, and you have your bright yellow as well. What a lovely combination that would be. And you can go either way round, of course. You can have the spot-on the inside if you wanted to as the lining. Let's go for this lovely peach and blue combination now. This is rather nice, isn't it? Oh, I love this. Half a metre of your papaya, which is really gorgeous, isn't it? That's lovely. You might want to actually, buy that separately on its own, actually. Speak to the team about that if you wanted metres and metres of that. It's always potentially possible. Plus, on this bundle, you've got a half metre of the turquoise solid, all by Macawa as well, which is very, very nice. £10.95 ZZGC18. And the last one, and then we're going to make, is half a metre of your, what are we calling this? Grey. And we've got half metre of your violet solid as well. Just waiting for the graphics at the moment, as always. I think they're steam-driven, our graphics. They'll make it in the end. And this, I'll just bring in the finished look as well. It's nice to see the different colour combinations. And, of course, you use the solid as the lining. Or maybe not. Maybe you do it the other way around. It's up to you completely. There we go. We've got the graphics. UXGC11. Fantastic. And it does come with complete instructions. So let's take the instructions over to the instructor, I say. Good morning, Jo Carter.
Good morning.
How are you, my love?
I'm very well, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's good to see you again. We did our first show together about a year ago, didn't we?
We did.
Woohoo! That was a long time ago, wasn't it?
It feels like a very long time ago now.
And see, and nothing to worry about, was it? It was absolutely fine. And here you are a year later, superstar of stage and screen. And loving every minute of it.
Absolutely.
And everyone loves you as well and your wonderful creations. So this is really, really different, actually, isn't it? Because this is something which, I mean, it gives you a really commercial look, doesn't it, actually? The finished product is something that could go straight into a store tomorrow. And
I think they look a lot more complicated and tricky to make than they really are. They're actually a really simple sewing project to take on.
That's what we need. That's what we need, isn't it? Because actually, if you're starting a small business, maybe yourself as well, and talk about this on other channels as well, if you are starting as a small business, if you look at your outlay for one of these kits and one of these clasps versus your, eventual selling price, you could be doing very nicely out of this, couldn't you?
You could.
Right, let's get started then, shall we?
OK, the first step is to draft a pattern, because they come in all different shapes and sizes. Yes. You can get straight-edged ones, sort of, with a right-angle corner, or the curved ones. So you need a basic method to follow to draft a pattern. So I'll go through that, and that's in the instructions. In the instructions, the illustrations are mainly for a square, a rectangular sort of corner. So I'll do it's the same principle, but I'll do the curved one today. To show.
Brilliant. And with every one of the fabric bundles, the instructions come as well. These are your instructions, are they?
They are my instructions.
Fantastic. Well, we know they're going to be brilliant then.
And with these frames, you actually get a sheet inside with the outline of the actual purse frame. So I copied this, and then it's the same principle each time. If I didn't have this, I would have a blank piece of paper. Oh, no, it's not blank on the back. And I would draw around my purse frame to get that shape. The work's done for me. So I'd draw around this. So I had that. But the work's done here. And then with a ruler, mark your centre line down through the centre of the frame, because we work on one half and then fold it in half to cut out to make the pattern piece. So this is the pattern piece I've already done. So I started line down the centre and then a line at right angles to it, along the top of the frame. And then from this top line, I marked 2 inches down and drew another line parallel to that one. So this is how we start with the centre line and then 2 parallel lines. Ooh, breaking the pencil. 2 inches apart.
Okay.
And then along the bottom line, I want to mark roughly the width of the purse frame. So it comes to about here. And this mark doesn't relate to the actual finished pattern. This is just to help get this curve. So you want to widen this curve out.
Ah, right.
But just so you've got something to aim at, that point there. Or you could draw around a plate or something else to extend this curve. And then once we've got a curve to follow, because we're going to widen this out so that the fabric bends round and gives the purse more body. So if it just went in straight, you'd have a very flat purse. So we're just widening this curve out just so we've got a little bit more body in the purse when it's finished.
Is there like a proportion? That's such a ridiculous question, isn't it?
No, I know what you mean.
It's like a... So you're using that as your kind of yardstick then, taking from the centre point, taking the width of the purse again. So in effect, you are kind of going, because you're going to do it again on this side as well, aren't you, for the curve. So you're kind of going twice as wide as the curvature of the frame. Of
the frame.
Right.
But it won't end up twice as wide.
No, that's
we'll have
so you
to
can
mark
gather
out.
it in. Yeah, OK.
But this is just to give us that wider curve. And there's a technique to do it for the... You would measure from the shoulder, purse shoulder, to that point to work out the square.
Another silly question. I might be preempting something you're about to say, but how do you figure out the depth? The width, I can see that, but what about the depth? Is that personal preference? Or
Totally
is that...
personal preference. This one would work quite nicely as a glasses case, I think, so you could make it longer. Oh, so it could be long.
Yes, yeah.
But it's all personal. It's what you would like the purse for.
OK.
So, but the only sort of tricky bit is just getting this top edge that will fit in the frame. But it's really not as complicated as it looks. So I've got that wider curve now. Yeah. So pop the frame back on and just pivot it round the curve. And I'm going to mark on where the purse frame ends there. So it's about there, and then add on 1/4 of an inch. And then from there... So this is going to be the edge of my pattern template.
Ah, OK, right. So that's when you bring it back down.
So you could have a completely straight... Let's move that. You have a completely straight edge. Or with this one, I've just moved it out ever so slightly.
Oh, to give it almost like a handbag kind of shape, almost. So it's much wider at the bottom, or a little bit wider at the bottom.
So this is the template I've used for this one. And the one... Here it is. I have my template in here somewhere of the one I used for the finished red purse.
For the other one, yes. I must bring that back over, actually.
I'll
go and grab it.
I'll dig that out later and show it in comparison to that one.
OK.
So then, think about the seam allowance at the top here and what sort of depth you'd like your purse to be. So if you wanted it to around about here, then you need to add on what you'd like for the base. Just to give it some depth, we'll box the corners of the purse. So we want it about that high, and then half the width of the base, add that on, and a little bit more. Is this confusing? Am I...
No, not at all.
Am I rambling a little bit?
No, you're not at all.
So there we go. This is the template I've used. And so if we fold the base in...
Ah, right, OK. So the extra base allowance, then you fold back. Right, OK,
yes,
I get it.
So you just need to add that little bit extra. It is all explained in the instructions. It's not the easiest thing to explain necessarily, but...
Yes, it's easier to read. This is one of those examples where it is easier to actually read the instructions and follow those. Because once you've gone past the template bit, you're away, aren't you? Yeah, you're away after that. It's just getting that bit right. And it might take a little bit of trial and error, but you're getting 1/2 metre of each fabric, and you need only a tiny bit of that, really, don't you?
You do, especially for a little... You get quite a few...
Yeah, depending on what size you're going to make, yeah.
So, and also, I think it's probably easier to do it than to listen. Having it in front of you does make it that bit easier.
Yes.
But the only really it's a bit that takes some thought, is this top edge, because you want this, once it's stitched, to fit, to be the right size to fit into this frame.
Yes, and you have to bear in mind that you're stitching it into the frame as well, aren't you?
Yes, these have perforations along here, so these are stitching ones. Sometimes they're glue-in frames, but this one you'll stitch to hold it in around these holes.
Fabulous. Right, let's get started then, shall we?
So that's my template.
Right.
Hopefully that made sense.
Yes.
But it is all in the instructions. So I'll move this bit. And I've cut out 2 exterior pieces and 2 lining pieces, all using that one template. And also, you could always just make one in some scrap fabric just to test that it works if you're not too sure.
Yeah. Test the theory.
Test.
Why not?
Right, I'll get started.
Right, let's.
I like to give it a bit of structure. I like to put interfacing onto one or both pieces. For this one, I'm going to keep it a little bit softer, so I'll just interface the exterior.
Okay.
So using the template again, cut out some iron-on interfacing, so I'll press that onto these.
Do you need the iron?
I do. Is it around?
Yes. Here it is. Well, you got the mini iron here as well.
It's only a little project, so I'll give it a quick...
Oh, ouch. That's warm.
It gets quite hot.
That'll be an iron then. Don't let small boys with irons. There you go.
Because it's small, I'm going to do it on this side, and I can avoid the edges.
Right, it'll heal in time. It's fine.
Use some cold water.
No, fine.
It does get surprisingly hot, though, this iron. But it's a really quick, just give it a quick go on that side as well. It's a really quick project to take on.
Now, ordinarily, of course, we wouldn't be ironing on an ironing mat on top of a cutting mat. But you know that. It's just that we're in a small environment.
And it's only the mini iron as well,
yeah,
so
exactly.
It does make your cutting mat go a little bit wavy. Although it will settle down again afterwards. Can you tell I iron on my cutting mat?
That's great. It's beautiful. I'm being offered first aid now. I think I'm all right. I'll live, I think. Yeah, I'm all fine.
I did once when it was on, try and adjust the screw
well, in essence, one of these little irons is, it's like a soldering iron, isn't it? The pieces at the end are... are just being... I love this mini iron. It's good, isn't it? It comes with lots of little bits and pieces as well, doesn't it? Very, very nice. Oh, you can buy them separately, the little accessories. Very nice. Yes, don't do it with the soldering iron.
It's quite handy because you can have it on the side of your desk.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's give that one a little...
Very good. Right. Let's put it back the way it's meant to be, which I guess is something like that. Very good. Right, step away from the iron, Derek.
Right sides together. I'm going to put the 2 exterior pieces, one on top of the other, and I'm going to sew from this edge around, all the way around, to join the sides and the bottom.
Okay.
Okay. And it's a 5mm, no, a 1/4 inch 6mm seam allowance. Because you don't want anything too chunky, especially on a small purse.
Yeah, because this is one of the smaller clasps that we're using here. Actually, we're using the one with the diamantes, which is only a diddy one, isn't it? It's beautiful.
It is. Very cute.
I'll bring you the details for that in just a moment. I love this because it's almost like it's like a vintage sort of styling on this clasp, isn't it?
It is.
And then you've got the little diamantes there at the top, which is very nice. And there's very reassuring. Listen to this. Even over the sewing machine, you could hear the reassuring snap of that. Looks great, doesn't it? And again, you've got those perforations. Even when you have the perforations, can you still secure it with glue as well if you wanted to?
It will probably...
Would you need to or not?
It will probably ooze. You might get glue.
Okay, so it's different types of frames.
With a glue-in frame, this one's it's not as deep on this side. So with a glue-in frame, it would be the same depth, and you'd have that deeper channel to put the glue in.
OK, I get you. Good, good. Right.
So I've done that one. I'm going to do the same with this one. I do have turquoise thread, and I'll swap later, but I'll stick with the cream for this one. This time, I'm going to stitch, but leave an opening in the bottom to turn it out, because we'll see... the top edges will be sewn together.
Perfect. I'm just going to show you the details for the silver frame, which is the most popular, out of the selection of 5 that we have. I think this is one of the biggest as well, actually. It's like an antique kind of silver. I think it's the one I described as almost like a titanium kind of look. It's very, very nice indeed. I'm just bringing the details up for that one. It's £5.50. AQPH 56. In fact, while you're looking at that, I'm going to bring the finished one of the one that you did. In fact, I'll bring all of the clasps with me. Why not? Let's do it. And then I could show you the one that we've got the details. So lots of people multi-buying on these clasps as well. I'm thinking it's that sort of time of the year as well, isn't it? When people are thinking about maybe making gifts for people. You know, it's the end of summer. The nights are drawing in. It was pitch black when we were all coming in this morning. And then you know, when do the clocks go again?
October. It's end of October.
Is it end of October? See, it feels like it should be like next week, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? It already feels like we're halfway there. Let me show you the clasp as well of the finished one that Joe pre-made for us before the show, which is really, really nice. So I'll show you the clasp for this one. Because this, again, is very, very nice with the lovely sort of bright ready. I mean, we could call these holly berries almost, couldn't you, at the top? They're very, very nice indeed. OMPH 03. It's your brass colour bag fastening there at £4.95. Very, very nice. Yes, it does need a little bit of oomph to, yeah, there you go, to snap it. It's reassuring, though, isn't it? Lovely. Just got a couple more to show. Shall I show you the big one as well, very, very quickly? Just to show you the choice of frames, and then I promise I will shut up again. Look. This is the biggest one. So actually you can make something really quite substantial for this one. I know you have to imagine the rest of the bag, but that's, you know, this is your starting point. And again, the snap on this one, really, really quite beautiful with that sort of brushed finish on the beads there at the top. That's lovely. BTPH 83, if you have that in a basket, please do check it out. I think there's one more, is there, to show you? Yeah, one more. Yeah, one more, just the smallest one. Just the smallest one, this little diddy one here. Bless you, my darling.
Excuse me.
Everyone's allergic to me this morning.
I was trying to look at the light.
Yeah, look at the light, look at the light.
Sorry.
No, usually you have to say it out loud. I'm going to sneeze, and then you don't.
Oh, that's what... Right.
And then you don't need to. That's rather sweet, isn't it? LGPH 59, again, £5.50. It's not quite a medical fact, Paul. I can't claim to be medically trained in any way, shape or form. And we're not sure who the first aider in the building is at the moment, but it's okay. Oh, is it you, Tim? Okay, I'm really fine, honestly.
Do you want me to craft you a bandage or something?
A fabric bandage, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Right, sorry, we interrupted. Where have we got to?
This is the template for that purse.
Right, OK, so we found the template. So you can see how much bigger than the frame, the fabric template actually sort of needs to be, because, of course, you're going to be gathering that fabric in as you go right round the frame. And again, that kind of relates to the overall kind of structure of the purse. Actually, we could have done with filling this one a little bit more, couldn't we? But beauty, yeah, money. Fill it full of money. Let's do that. It's gorgeous, though, isn't it? Really nice. And I love the way the lining fabric is, you know, completely and utterly different. That's the way things are done these days. You've even made a cute little bow at the front. Love it, love it, love it. Right. OK, so
that's the lining. I've left an opening there to turn it out. And next is time to box the corners. Sorry if I'm...
Yeah, that's all right.
So we want to rearrange, open up the seams, just give them a finger press open, and bring the bottom seam in line with the side seam, and check inside that those seams line up, because you want a continual line all the way around.
Yeah.
And then pop a pin in and choose what sort of depth you'd like the boxed corner to be. I think I'm going to go for about 1 inch on this one. I think I did 1 1/4 inches on the red one. And with a ruler like this, you know, it's going to be level because you can use one of the lines to line up along the seam. I'm going to go from 1 inch from this point. I'll draw a line across there and then stitch straight across there. I'll do the other side so I can do 2 at the same time.
And again, make sure you get one of those water erasable pens because they are very, very good. And there's so many different uses for it, isn't there? Jo, apparently you are the mistress of these pens, I'm being told.
I am. In fact, I couldn't find one this week, and I was bereft. Didn't know what to do with myself. But they're great. You can just spritz with the iron and the lines disappear.
Yeah. We're bringing in the details. We've always got them on standby when you're here, Jo. HSGQ67 if you'd like one. And again, the difference between this and a standard felt tip pen is that you can erase. You
can dab with a damp sponge or give spritz with a water spray. Or if you've done a quilt, just once it goes in the machine, it'll come out without the lines. And I've never had a problem ever with them not coming off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth testing your fabric first just to make sure.
Yeah.
But I've never had a problem. Throwing scissors.
I wonder what the magic is.
Because it is magic.
It must be, mustn't it? It's certainly very clever anyway. If you have any questions for Jo, by the way, sorry, I stand here open-mouthed like a goldfish because I'm fascinated. But if you have any questions for Jo, please do send them in. studio@sewingquarter.com. studio@sewingquarter.com. Or if you're watching us on the website, somewhere over there or somewhere near where you're watching us, there will be a little message box so you can send a message straight through to us. And thank you to those of you who have sent messages through this morning.
So I'm just going to turn it out just to check I like the depth and that the seams line up. So once you're happy with the boxed corners.
Where's the frame gone? Oh, did I steal it?
Trim
Have
away.
I stolen your frame?
You might. Oh, yeah, possibly, because there are 2 there, aren't there?
Yes.
Diana
has sent a picture of her bags through to us. And she says they do go down brilliantly as presents. Thank you, Diana. Let's have a little look, shall we? Oh, now, Jo, look at these.
I love that fabric as well.
Yum, 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 yum. You've made these as well, haven't you?
I have.
Nice, nice, nice. Like that, Diana. Very, very stylish. Lovely fabrics as well. Nice. Thank you, Diana.
They're brilliant. I like the circles are centred as well. Like, nice attention to detail.
Very good.
Right, I'm going to work out how to put a zigzag stitch on this.
Okay.
Now. Let's give this a little... Oh, what were the chances? It worked.
The Diamante clasp, by the way, which Jo's making with right now, is the most popular of all 5 that we have available this morning. It's got that lovely antique brass finish to it. It's got the lovely, it's almost sort of Victoriana, isn't it? It's really, really nice. Lots of sort of scroll and filigree work going on. And it's got a little bit of bling there as well with the Diamante crystals there at the top as well. Very, very nice indeed. And listen to this. Ho, ho, ho. That's a good snap. That's a good snap. We like that. Right. So now, yeah, November the 10th. Thanks, Tim. Looking for birthday presents for me. A snap clasp with Diamantes. Right, so now we have our lining and the inside and the outside.
So I trimmed away the corners and then just to strengthen, because I've obviously snipped through the stitching here and the sides and the bottom, just zigzagged across the ends just to hold them securely in place. And I'm going to do the same with the lining.
Oh, OK, right, so you box them out in exactly the same way. So you need to keep the same measurements as well for the lining, or does that need to be slightly less, slightly more?
I keep to the same measurements.
Right.
Also, before you get to this stage with the exterior, you can add any sort of detailing on the front. With the bow, I added it at the end, just so I can get the positioning right and see if I was happy with it. But if you wanted to, if you use some Bondaweb, maybe some applique on the purses, I've done them in the past with stars on the front, and add that before you stitch front and back together.
Could do someone's name, couldn't you, with the interfacing?
Initial
in a different fabric or something like that.
This in the past, I've just used a star.
That'd be quite
pastry
cute.
cutter as to draw around.
That's a good idea. Yes, or you could take a piece from, you know, like a flower from another fabric or something like that, and then...
You could fussy cut and pop that on. I'm just going to mark the inch across. And when this is done, it's joined both sides together and it's virtually finished. There we go.
Look at that. So we're in straight stitching again now?
Yes, but I'm just going to turn it off and turn it back on. So it defaults onto... This isn't the machine. This is my favourite machine, but it's not the one I normally use.
Is this the 680?
It is.
Yeah, it's the 680 we've got here. Everyone's favourite machine.
There we go. I use too many machines and I forget how to switch from stitches on various ones.
If you've made any bags as well, by the way, if you want to, as Diana did, send us in any images of your creations. Maybe you've made one of the projects that we're working on right now. Maybe you've made one of these purses. Please do send the details in, because I'd love to see them as well. studio@sewingquarter.com is our email address to send images through to. And we would love to see that. So there you go, there's our email address, studio@sewingquarter.com. Lovely. So we're zigzagging again now just to add some strength.
Just to secure the...
So that's behind the stitching line?
Yes.
Ah, now in the fastenings we have a new leader. Which one? Oomph. Oomph, that's your original one. Your original one with the berries on the top. Love this. Very, very nice. Again, I like these extra little details on the outside as well, which is very, very nice. Oh, that's for, you know what that's for, extra little details. That's for if you wanted to add a strap to that as well, isn't it? Or a chain.
Yes, you could pop a little
loop. You could add a little chain to that if you wanted to. So Oomph 03 at £4.95 is now the most popular. It's in the lead. It's the one that Jo used for her original make. Lots of people multi-buying on these clasps as well while they're around. I was going to show you details of some Gutermann Creative textile glue, but none of these frames are glue-in. But I can show you the details anyway, because quite a lot of the purse clasps that you can buy, you would actually glue everything in. So this is the Gutermann. Well, if it's by Gutermann, we know it's good, don't we? It's the HT2 textile glue. It's 20 grams. It's brand new, so if you want it, you know that we've now got it as a resource if you need some. THEQ79. THEQ79. As with all of these things, can I say, with glues, and I know from being at our sister channel, Jewellery Maker as well, whenever we have a glue or a bonding agent of any sort for any kind of project, we never hold a big stock, and they do sell out very, very quickly because people suddenly get the heads up. Oh, they've got some, so everyone dives in for it, because there are a few places where you can kind of get this name and this level of textile glue. I mean, I don't know many places where you can buy textile glue. So there you go. Denim, cotton, linen, felt. This will glue, which is pretty good. And I guess that's very, very strong as well, Jo.
It is. I've used that quite a bit. It's really good glue.
Solvent-free as well. Good. Right, so none of the frames that we've got today are glue-in, but you know we've got it there as a resource now. Right. So
I turned the exterior the right way out, and then I put right sides together, popped it inside the lining, and pinned it in place. Lined up the side seams of each. And I'm going to sew now around the top. And I do a side at a time. I think it's easier as well. Just don't stitch quite to the very seam, just so you've got that bit of flexibility and movement when you turn it the right way out. You want a little bit of flex there.
Yeah.
But only a stitch width away from it, not too much. So I'll sew around each side, and then we're on the finishing straight.
I'll be interested to see how this... OK, right, so yes, I see.
Let's pop that in there and slide that pin out just so I don't catch it on the needle.
Are we still on zigzag?
I knew that would happen. Let's see, have I done it? No.
Restarting.
I'm just going
like everything in life, Control-Alt-Delete.
I'm just going to cheat. Right, I'll remove these stitches. Let's make a good job of it.
That's a true professional, isn't it?
Let's not just,
While you're doing that, then, what are we looking at, Paul? Sorry. Oh, let's go and look at the fabric bundles we've got to make this purse, shall we? Purses. We've got 4 different bundles for you, and remember, in each one you get a ½ metre of the solid and a ½ metre of the spot-on. The most popular, the one that Joe is demoing right now, which is the papaya and turquoise combination. So it's ½ metre of your spot-on papaya and ½ metre of your turquoise as well, your turquoise solid, at £10.95. Does come with Joe's instructions for this purse as well, which is brilliant, or for these purses, should I say. So that's ZZGC16. It's far too early in the morning for all these numbers and letters. ZZGC. Right, next one. Let's do the red and the blue together. Very, very nice, fresh sort of strawberry red. Now, this is the one that Joe made her pre-made one with the oomph clasp, of course. So this is blue and red, so it's ½ metre of each. You've got your bright red spot on, and you've got your blue C solid there as well. Please make sure you check out your baskets. You will get instructions with them as well. So that's big C44 this time. Big C44. Lovely. Right, what should we do next? Let's do grey next. Violet and grey. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So ½ metre of your grey spot on this time. Very, very sophisticated grey, isn't it? I mean, it's really, really lovely combination. And grey and violet together works really, really nicely, doesn't it? It's steel grey, the spot on. It's really lovely. Again, it's very, very vivid, very, very sophisticated. Got lovely... I love these Macao fabrics because they have a lovely sheen to them as well, a lovely finish to them. Really, really nice and easy to work with. So that's UXGC11, that one, which will leave me with one more, which will be... Yes, blue and yellow. Blue and yellow this time. This is a really, really sweet blue in the spot on. I love it. Very, very nice. This is marine blue, and it's bright yellow, which is slightly brighter than the maize that we saw earlier. Almost like rich Devon custard. Ooh, yum, yum. You know, it's always yellower, isn't it, down in Devon? Always richer, the custard down there. So that's KWGC88. It's ½ metre of each, plus, of course, your instructions as well. Snap to it. And we're going back, and we're going to have another quick look at our fasteners as well, which we'll do in a second. Right, so we are now at the stage where you've done the top.
Just clip some V-shaped notches into the seam allowance around the curve at the top. So it's stitched on either side, so I can turn it out the right way through the hole.
Okay.
The opening left in the bottom. Gently ease this through.
Lovely.
Tuck the lining inside, and then I'll press this top edge.
Now that's got an awful lot of structure. Now, at this stage, you could use the same kind of method, couldn't you? If you weren't using one of these rigid clasps, would you use the same kind of method if you wanted to then add just thinking back to the last hour, those magnetic clasps, or even a zip or something like that. Would you use a similar kind of method? You're going to tell me it's completely different on both examples I've just given, aren't you?
Similar-ish, but you need to fit them in before you joined.
Yeah.
In fact, with the zip, you attach the zip before you stitch the sides together and all the rest of it.
Do you know, I knew as it came out of my mouth, I thought, no, you're wrong, Derek. Just have one idea at a time. But the magnetic clasp, yes, definitely.
Yes, you could.
But your proportions would be a lot bigger, I guess.
They would, I think.
So cute, though, isn't it? Can you imagine that as a little... even if you stopped at this stage, could you imagine that as a little favours bag for a wedding?
That'd be really cute, actually.
Wouldn't it?
It would.
Really sweet.
Right, I'll give this a little press.
Right, OK. I'm going to show you the clasps then while you're having a little press over there. The most popular is it oomph?
That's my favourite.
Back to the one we've got. Back to the one that we're doing right now. This is the sparkly one with the diamantes. Again, I think this is brilliant because it's got that lovely sort of Victoriana feel to it. It's instant vintage, isn't it? Very, very classy. And plus, you've got the little diamantes there at the top. £4.50. It's brilliant, isn't it? £4.50. Especially when you think that this framework here then gives you the ability to, work with any fabrics that you want to. Go with our bundles, go with your own choices, completely up to you. And you've got the little loop there, as you can see, coming up and over there if you wanted to add this, if you were having it as a little clutch bag. Or, as Joe suggested, this would be a really, really good proportion for a glasses case. Because if you think of that, the width of a pair of glasses, on average, if you wanted to make a long version rather than actually making, a purse shape as we're doing at the moment, and you wanted to make this a long pocket, so to speak, then that would be excellent as a glasses case, wouldn't it? Very good. Very nice. In fact, there are two different ones. Sorry, I'll give you yours back.
Thank you.
Keep stealing it. There are two that would be suitable for glasses. I've lost the other one. Where's the other one? There's a little tiny one, the Diddy one.
Oh, that little square one at the front.
Oh, this one, is it? Yes, it's square, not round. It's like play school, this, isn't it? Let's go through the square window. Here's the smallest one. Again, would be good for a glasses case because it's rectangular there at the end. And you've got the little loop there. And there's the actual beads there at the top. They have like a slight sort of brushed finish to them. Very nice, isn't it? Very, very classy indeed. So that's this one here, LGPH59 at £5.50. Lovely. Right, OK. And don't forget, oomph is still very, very popular as well. That's the one that Joe pre-made. I promise this is the last one I'll show you, then we'll go back to Joe. So this is, we're just looking at the clasp details here, OMPH03 at £4.95. In fact, here it is in the nude, so to speak. Look at that. Au naturel. Your favourite, Joe, as well, isn't it?
That's my favourite. I like the sort of retro look to that one. Especially with the red fabric as well. I think spotty fabric works
gorgeous.
perfectly.
Oh, do you know what? I've let a cat out of a bag now with this glue. There are lots and lots and lots of you coming in. None of the frames that we have today are necessarily glue-in frames, just to be clear about that. But just to let you know, as a brand new resource, we now have this Gutermann textile glue. It's the HT2 textile glue, which is great for cotton, denim, linen, felt, and many other fabrics as well. And this is solvent-free. So not necessarily applying to the snap-on frames that we have today for your purses and things, but if you have other frames and you want some of this, or you just need some good, strong textile glue, this is proving very, very popular. We're not even demoing at all with this today, but it's good to know you've got it as a resource. THEQ 79 at £4.95. Right, wonderful. Right, I will zip it now, I promise. Where have we got to, Joe? Are we hand sewing now?
We're hand sewing. Before you stitch through these properly and attach the body of the purse to the frame,
right,
you can either pop with something small, although you need to be careful not to catch yourself. You can just pop pins with large round heads so they don't go through at intervals to hold it in place. Or, as I'm doing here, you can just tack it on. So I'm going over the frame, I'm doing every other hole, just to make sure I've got the positioning right, and do it in a different colour thread to the one you want to finish with. I think I might sneeze again. That will make it go, won't it?
Yeah, so you won't need to do it now. Now you've said it, you won't need to do it.
I'm now testing that theory.
Yeah, well, it's worked so far. I'll just stand back just in case.
I have a hand signal.
She hasn't got a hand free.
No, I think it has gone. It does. It works.
Yeah.
So just going over the frame, just to hold it in place before I sew it in properly. I want the seam, the side seam, to be in the middle of the hinge. And if you finger press, before I got to this point, I just finger pressed in half to find the centre of this. So you roughly know that you want that crease to fall in between the clasp there. So just tack it in place. And if it's slipped or it's not in the right place, just whip these stitches out and have another go until the positioning's correct.
Now, the last hole on this to sew in is fairly close, isn't it, to the end? In fact, there is another hole, isn't there? There's another gap. Do you utilise that gap there? Because there's a little gap there as well. So you've got the holes there at the side, but you also have this little gap there, or do you not use that, no?
I didn't use that, no.
Okay.
I just stitched it.
Yeah.
Just through the holes on the front there.
Yeah.
So that, I think, would be quite even. So I would then stitch that side on, and I do a side at a time. Take these pins out before I stab myself.
Paul suggested that was a good way of keeping people out of your purse.
It's not that is a good idea. I might do that. My children like... Oh, it's nice when I get to the till in the supermarket and think, oh, all my cards have gone.
Yeah.
For a game at home. I had to do the 10-minute dart home from the shop this week.
It's embarrassing, isn't it?
It is.
Because you never know what to say, do you? You never know what to do with the shopping. Do I leave it here? Do I put it all back? Or
because you only have a small time frame before they put your fridge items and freezables back. So you're then on a speed home.
Tight window.
Right, so there we go. That's how... and it's nice to use either a coordinating thread or you can use I used embroidery thread on that one. So with something the smaller purse, you might want to use a finer thread. But this, you could use the sort of cream of the spots or sort of give a suggestion of the lining by having a turquoise thread.
Yeah.
Now, I did, for this one, just the bow is really simple. I'll just give it a press. It's an inch wide strip, and I think it's about 15 inches long. That's longer than I need it to be, but it just means it's a bit easier to work with. So I'll give this a good press, and it's just like binding.
Oh, okay.
So I'll press it in half and then press...
Is that twice over then?
Yes, I'll press each side then into the central fold. But they're nice, especially if you've got a beautiful fabric like that. You don't need to put any detail on the front. But I like each time I do the purses, I like to have some different embellishment. I've had applique, gathered bows from the side, pin tucks are nice.
Yes. That would be a nice look, actually, wouldn't it? Very, very therapeutic to watch, making things like this. And this is how you can make your own, if you wanted to make bias binding as well. This is, I guess, the long-form way of doing it, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, this width, because the finished width will be a 1/4 inch. It is quite fiddly. But actually, with this iron, it's quite easy to do.
I wonder whether we have... I'll check with Paul in a couple of minutes whether we actually have stock of the iron available. It's worth having a look on the website at sewingquarter.com. I would imagine we probably have. And if we haven't, it will be winging its way, I'm sure, very, very soon.
But this is an easy embellishment to add if you finish the purse and think, oh, actually, I do want to add something else. Most things it's better to add at the very beginning to the exterior piece, but this...
Yeah.
I mean, you could use ribbon or buttons would be nice, I think, on the front. There we go, where's the stand?
Yeah, whatever your fancy is, really, isn't it? Could be nice little felt shapes, or... We do have stock of the iron, apparently. The mini iron. I can bring you the details. I'll pick it up very, very carefully this time. It does come with its little stand. It's from Clover, and it actually has 2 different heat settings as well. It's got a low and it's got a high. It is very, very... Yes, I can confirm the high is very hot. Certainly good for pressing. And it comes with this, this foot already on it, doesn't it? This iron, which is just literally a mini iron. You can actually get bigger ones as well. And we sell the accessories separately. How much was the iron? $49.95 for the iron. There's a good lot of flex on it as well. I'd say you're probably looking about 1.5 meters of flex on there. You can certainly go quite some distance with that, which is quite good. And again, it's a really, really nice design because it kind of keeps you out of the way and it keeps the fabric out of the way, despite me burning myself on it. Actually, I burnt myself on the stand because we had the iron head on the stand, not quite in the right way. So I actually burnt my hand on the stand. It wasn't the iron itself. But there you go. Live and learn, as they say. And the adapter... which is the Mini Iron 2, which is... Actually, let me put the iron down and I can show you the adapters, can't I? Yes, I have. I got all 3 of them here. We've got this one, which is the... this one, the large adapter tip there. So if you wanted a slightly larger... Almost, you know, it's mirroring the shape of your iron sole plate, really, isn't it? That's £8.95. There is also... this one, which is like a little spatula. Now, Jo, you use these quite a lot in toys as well, don't you?
Yes.
This kind of longer one.
You can get inside.
Tip. Yeah. It just allows you a bit of a longer reach. So that's that one, $8.95. And then there is a rounded one as well. Now, is this... Well, I'm guessing here, if you interface some fabric and you're pressing this into the middle, a little bit like when you're making flowers from card... Does it kind of turn up the fabric a little bit around it?
Yes, it can. It sort of shapes it into a bowl.
Like little bowls, yeah.
Also really good if you're making a bag and you've stitched it together and you need to get inside, you just press the seams open to make sure the finished look, you want the seams nice and pressed out to give you a crisp finish to the bag. That one's really good to get in and just roll down the seams just to make sure they're pressed out.
And they're very, very easy to get in and out, by the way, because if I just show you very, very quickly on the iron itself, now obviously this is on at the moment, so do let it cool down, but you would actually get in there, it's like a screw head there. So actually this could be further up and out if we wanted it to be, because you can see you've got the range of movement there to make this longer or shorter, which is good. What a lovely tool. What a lovely tool. I'll leave you the details for that one then at £49.95. Right, OK. So.
Super simple. I've just used a short stitch length and stitched all the way along to seal the sides and then just tighten to a bow. I think the nicest bows, always, and I'll say this now and it will be a mess, where you do 2 loops and tie them. And so by doing it, making it a little bit longer than you want, it's just... got a bit of room to play about, get it to the size you want. Let's give that. There we go. And then stitch that in place on the front. Because the stitch length is shorter, you can just give those ends a little snip off on a diagonal. Like that. And then stitch it. Take the needle and thread through so that it can't be untied, through the knot in the middle, and stitch it onto your purse. You have a little...
Love it. So we've got 2 finished makes now of this, which is brilliant. Love that. That's really, really sweet, isn't it? And, of course, you can embellish this in any way that you want to. So if you want to, you know, if it's beads or... Actually, could you glue that on as well with the textile glue?
The textile glue would hold that on.
You could use that to glue that as well if you wanted to. Love it. Very, very good. So you've got 2 different makes there. And I love the fact that if I just show you the contrasting lining as well. Beautiful.
Also, the very last thing, you will need to sew up the hole in the lining at the bottom. I've done it on that one.
Oh, right,
because you don't have to lose any of your change into...
No.
That would be all wrong.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful finish as well, and actually got lots and lots of structure to it as well. I like it. Very, very nice. So, very, very simple. Shall I run you through the purses again? The clasps. Shall I? I'll take my clasps over to the fabric. Thank you, Joe. I'll see you again in an hour. What are you doing in an hour?
It's a bag with a quilted bag.
It's a swivel tote bag,
It's a swivel tote bag.
That's what it says on the whiteboard over there, so it must be. I'll see you in an hour then. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Do you know what? I feel like I've learnt an awful lot there. Like how to get a bit of a head start on a project like this. Really, really good. So let's go through your bag clasps, shall we? We'll start with the largest one, which is lovely. And obviously you have to imagine the purse underneath it. So we'll start with this one, BTPH83 in the antique brass at £9.50. That's the biggest that we have, with a nice reassuring snap to it as well. Let's go for Oomph next. Oomph, which is a really, really popular one. Very, very popular. Remember Joe's original make, almost like with the red berries there on the top. OMPH31, I think it was. It's coming. 03, not far off. There you go. So that's that one at £4.95. OMPH03. If you miss any of the codes, by the way, you can always just give us a call on 0800 112 4433, and the team know all of the details. They can see them. You can see them clearer on the website. This is the one we're calling the antique silver, I think, this one, isn't it? Which is very, very nice indeed. Yeah, antique silver at £5.50. AQPH56. Let's do Diamantes next, which is the most popular because it's the one Joe has been demonstrating with in the last hour or so, which is this lovely one with an instant vintage to it, all of that lovely filigree work, and those lovely Diamantes there on the top, plus the reassuring snap. BGPH04 is your item number for that one at £4.50. And finally, Esther, we've got the smallest one, which would make a good glasses case as well. So you could make this one as a little purse if you wanted to, but also make it longer if you want it as a glasses case too, with a little loop there at the side there. And there's the details for that one, LGPH59 in the antique brass. Jenniffer Taylor is back with me next. We are doing City Shopper. Ho ho! City Shopper. Where's the City Shopper? I see the City Shopper. I tell you what, you're going to love this. And we've got some wild horses. There you go. Susan Boyle hasn't a patch on me, I tell you. So stay right where you are here at the Sewing Quarter. If you want to get in touch, of course, studio@sewingquarter.com. I'll see you back here then in 3 minutes for some city shopping.
Join us on Facebook. Simply search for the Sewing Quarter and like our page for the latest news and more.
It's easy to buy the products you see on our shows. To buy any of the items featured on today's programmes, just head over to our website www.sewingquarter.com. Click on the video stream and you'll be taken to our watch page. Here you'll find the product that is on air right now at the top of the page. Beneath that, you'll find all the products demonstrated in this morning's shows. To add an item to your basket, simply log into your account or register with us. Then you can either check out or keep shopping. Remember, our flat rate delivery charge lets you shop all day and check out as many times as you like and only pay once for postage and packing. Only on Sewing Quarter, Freeview Channel 78. Sewing Quarter had a ball at the Festival of Quilts. Most importantly, we loved meeting all of you at the Sewing Quarter Cafe. Thanks to everyone who popped by to meet us, including those who joined us for a spot of English paper piecing, all for the great cause Project Linus. John Scott was even joined by Mandy Shaw on Sunday, and they laughed their way through a demonstration from Mandy's red and white Christmas book. If you didn't have a chance to drop by our stand or couldn't make it to the NEC, then we have a treat for you. We've filmed Mandy Shaw's live demonstration at Festival of Quilts, and you can watch the full video over on our website at www.sewingquarter.com. Simply click on the banner at the top of the page, sit back with a cuppa, and watch Mandy and John.
Britain's favourite sewing show is coming to London and we'll be there with bells on. The Great British Sewing Bee Live is taking place over 4 days from the 21st to the 24th of September at XL London. If you're a hobbyist dressmaker who's been inspired by what you've seen on the Sewing Bee, a seasoned professional looking for new ideas, or just fancy taking dressmaking up for the first time, this is the event for you. We are proudly sponsoring the Demo Theatre with live performances from designer, author and former Sewing Bee contestant Jenniffer Taylor throughout the weekend. And with our discount code SQD, you'll get £1.50 off your ticket. So what are you waiting for? Grab your tickets now and join the buzz at the Great British Sewing Bee Live this September.
Welcome back. I can't believe it is already hour number... Hang on, it must be hour number 3 now, isn't it? No way. How has that gone so quickly? It's lovely to have your company this morning here at the Sewing Quarter. I'm Derek. It's lovely to meet you if you've never met before. I am Mr. Standby when everybody else is very, very busy. But I love this channel. I think it's fantastic. I was involved in the setup of this channel, and it's amazing to see how far it's come as well. And to see the friendly faces that are on your screen as well. So if you'd like to get in touch this morning, please do. It's studio@sewingquarter.com, or if you're watching us on the website, somewhere over there or up there or down there, somewhere or other, will be a little box where you can send us in a message, and we would love to hear from you. Right, it's bag day today, which is really, really exciting. I know we've already had lots and lots and lots of projects, but here comes some more. And this time we're talking, and I love this. This is really super stylish. This is the City Shopper. This is such a nice looking bag. In fact, whichever way you look at this bag, it looks smart, sleek, sophisticated. It looks like something that in a store you could potentially, in my opinion, you could be talking about a 3-figure price tag for. Do you know what I mean? It looks super, super smart, doesn't it? Really, really designer. And we've got 4 different bundles with which to make this City Shopper. Now, just stand there. You're the horses. You should be standing up firm. Let's start with the horse bundle then, shall we? Which we've made here. This is lovely. Now, it's going to be 3 metres of fabric in each bundle, this one. On this one, in the horse fabric here, which is lovely, you're going to get ½ metre of the horse fabric, because actually on the finished bag, it goes on either end, and it goes on the clasp across the top, which is why the ½ metre. Very, very nice. Now, in your fabrics, you are getting 1 metre of mocha, which I believe is one of these, isn't it? It's this one here, isn't it? Mocha. And you're getting a ½ metre of the others as well, which is this one, which is ecru. You've got cappuccino, which I think might be the one there at the bottom there. And you've got spot-on stone. So a lovely palette of different colours there. You also get the pattern and the thread with that kit there as well. VGGC 99 is Wild Horse. Right, let's go for the nautical one now then, shall we? I like it. It's got whales, it's got boats, it's got seahorses, it's got everything going on there. Love this. Very, very stylish. That'd be wonderful for cushions as well, wouldn't it, this? Seaside City, it's called. Of course it is. So you get the Seaside City fabric. You get a ½ metre of that. What else have we got in this little old bundle? This is really nice. ½ metre of your azure, which is this darker blue, I think it might be. 1 metre of ocean, which I think is this one here. ½ metre of spot-on marine. I thought you said maroon then, Paul. I thought, hello. And ½ metre of antique white there as well. That's a nice little bundle, isn't it? Plus the thread, plus the pattern there as well. At £29.45. RRGC 91. Right, have a little game of chess now. Move the horses there, move the seaside down there. And we'll have the lovely rose now. This is gorgeous. Very, very lovely. Really, really rich floral going on here. Again, I'm sure you're looking at this fabric and thinking, I like. And actually, out of the ½ metre, let's ask Jenniffer Taylor, shall we? Out of the ½ metre, Jenniffer, of the feature fabric here, are we using the whole kit and caboodle? Are we using it all?
Nope.
How much are we using ish? Would you say?
Not even a quarter of a metre, so that's the leftover. So
oh, wow.
On the edge. You've got loads left.
Honestly. Okay, yes, because it is just the two sides and over the top, isn't it, that you're using?
It's just the side panels, and like you said, the little tab for the front. That's it, you're done.
Wonderful. So actually, if you want to use this floral fabric for something completely and utterly different, yes, you can. Sorry, I laboured that a little bit, but that's such beautiful fabric, isn't it? So you've got ½ metre of the floral, and what else have we got in this bundle then? So we've got 1 metre of lichen, which is your linear fabric there in the green. Very nice. ½ metre of vanilla. ½ metre of mauve spot on, and ½ metre of vintage pink, which keys in really, really nicely with the floral. In fact, everything keys in beautifully there. That's a lovely bundle, actually, full stop, for no matter what the project is, I think. That's brilliant. But it does come with the City Shopper pattern, and it also comes with the thread as well for you. And finally, we've got the stars bundle going on right now, which is rather nice. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Now, this is nice because, again, a nice, rich, sophisticated colour palette going on here. You have a wonderful sort of deep, steely grey. You've got lovely cream colours there that really pop out of the fabric. And those sort of maroon-coloured stars, again, are very, very beautiful indeed. So you're getting ½ metre of that. And remember, you use virtually, well, hardly any of it at all. What else have we got in this bundle? We got Christmas red. Is that 1 metre? ½ metre of Christmas red. ½ metre of flamingo. ½ metre of slate, which is lovely, isn't it? And your 1 metre in this one is your spot on. And the shade this time is called silver. And it has a lovely sheen to it as well, actually. Comes with a thread, comes with the pattern for the City Shopper as well. DDGC24. Oh, it's tongue twisters again. Right, should we go then? Come on then. I'll take my shopper with me. Here we go. Look at that. It's very, very sophisticated. I like it. I like it. What do you think? What do you think?
Very
it's a
nice
look, actually, isn't it? Very, very good. Like this. Very, very much indeed. It's very, very sophisticated. Now, the only thing that doesn't come in your bundles, or actually what doesn't come in your bundles with these, because we leave you the choice, is the straps for the top. So if you want the straps, we've got 2 different choices of straps, actually. We've got this lovely, rich, sort of braided strap, which Jen has used on her finished make here, which is lovely. I love that. A lovely sort of woven braid. And the handles on those, the loops on those, are they wood or are they resin? I think they're wooden, actually.
I think they are wooden.
What do you think they are? There's the details for them. Yes, they are wooden. So you get 2 pieces there, and they're 62 centimetres each, and it's HCPH06 at £13.95. They're called Alice. Alice.
Alice. Well, the reason why I went with that one, because the rope, I was thinking, like, cowboys and whips and stuff.
Oh, wait, now.
Sorry. No, but you know what I mean? Like, I just thought it went really nice with the horse fabric.
Cowboys have whips? Maybe.
I was maybe cattle cowboys, I don't know.
Maybe. Lasso?
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows what she was thinking about? Lonely nights in that she shed. That's what it is. Right, let me show you the other one. And these are called Laura. I'm not even asking you about that. These are Laura, and these are really lovely. This is a pleather, isn't it? Beautiful, very, very rich, and you get obviously 2 of them, and they are £13.95, and they've got the sort of lobster claw clip-ons.
Need your D-rings.
Yeah, very nice. Yes, you do need your D-rings for those.
You don't necessarily need your D-rings, but I think a D-ring would really set that off.
In fact, let's show you. It's funny you mentioned D-rings, because there they are. We've got those as well. So if you are buying Laura, you might want to buy some D-rings to affix Laura to your City Shopper.
Bag.
Yes. So you get a pack of 4. They are 20mm D-rings. And at £2.95. I mean, that's buttons, isn't it? Even as a resource, it's good to have anyway, isn't it? If you are going to be making bags.
Well, it's good for clothing as well. So when you do like dungarees, for instance, or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or we used it for our iPad holder as well. So there's a different way of opening and closing as a handle. So they do come in super, super handy.
Now, the one other thing that we need to show you is you've put a zip onto the front of this, haven't you? Because that's...
Well, in the pattern, it goes front and back, but I've just done the front.
OK, so I'm going to put you in some details for the zip. It's a YKK nylon coil zip in dark navy. It's 18 centimetres. YKK is really, it's the zip, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whenever you look at a zip...
it's generally one of those.
That's what you want to see, isn't it? £1 and 45 pence in the dark navy. We might have other zips as well available. Check out with the team on 0800 112 4433. I think I've shown you everything there. Magnetic clasps. That's the only thing I haven't shown you.
Love it. Sorry.
Gorgeous, isn't it?
Love a zip with a pocket.
Got to show you some magnetic clasps as well. And we saw in the first demo this morning how to fix those on and how easy they are. So let's start with the details for the metallic ones, the silver-coloured ones. They are again from Prim and Proper. BJPH16, £4 and 45 pence. This is a 19mm size. Brilliant. Let's do some different colours for you. So again, let's do... Is this a brass colour?
Antique silver, I believe.
Oh, is it?
Is it?
It's like a brassy kind of colour. Yeah, brass.
Oh, there you go then.
I got brass.
It looks antique-y to me.
Yeah, no, it does. It is very vintagey.
I like it.
PQPH53 is your item code for this one then, £4 and 45 pence. And finally, we've got the gold. And then we can get started, which is good. I like to get all the housework done first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we can get cracking. We can get stuck in then. So here comes the details for the gold. Coloured. 19mm, £4 and 45 pence, OTPH17. Right. Now I've told them everything, Paul. Now we can get started, yes? Yay!
I was limbering up.
I love this. I love this bag.
It's a very sophisticated bag.
Isn't it? It's the kind of bag that if you were looking to buy one, you'd be looking in those designer boutiques, wouldn't you?
Mystified.
And I think you'd be spending a lot of money.
Sorry, I've got to do that because it's really annoying me. There you go, done.
That's all right.
Sorry.
That's all right. There's one down there as well, but we'll not mention that one.
Oh, did we cut
It's
it
all right.
off?
It's fine. Go on then.
Oh, I've got to do it. How? You know what? That's 4 o'clock in the morning.
That's what it is. You see. That's what it is. Right. Okay, let's get cracking, shall we?
So, cracking. So, yeah, this is a very substantial bag. There's a lot of detail in there. So, we've got our lovely zip in the front. I like to call it letterbox because it reminds me of a letterbox.
Yes.
And you've got your pocket in the inside. So I haven't put any pockets on the inside, but it's an internalised pocket, which I really like. So that pocket doesn't go through the bag. It's inside the inner linings, which is fab. And then, obviously, you've got your lovely clasp as well. But the one thing that I think I really like about this bag is that it is really firm. You've got 3 types of interfacing linings in there. So you've got your standard interfacing that you probably use for cuffs and collars, things like that. We've got a fusible wadding as well, which will be great for your quilting, so I'll show you that. And then you've also got the foam, which is giving you the full body of the bag, which is these sections here.
That's really good,
So it really is a proper posh bag, isn't it? And also, it's a bag that's taken me out of my comfort zone a little bit because, as you know, I'm a dressmaker and we're doing some quilting on this. So it's about... obviously getting our lovely checkerboard patchwork together, which we are then going to insert a zip into, which is quite technical. So as per the instructions, you've got your paper pieces, which I've gone ahead and cut out already. So you've got our side panels, which look like that. Obviously, you have 2 of those, one for either side of the bag, and then you'd repeat that again on the other side. So you've got 4 of those.
And you've interfaced those as well?
I've gone ahead and interfaced those ahead of time. We've got our bottom bit of the bag, which is our base. So if I just switch this down, that's the base there. So I've done that again in our horse fabric. So there's the base there. And then basically, along with the tab, and maybe if you're going to create some loops, depending on what kind of handle you've got, that's all you use of that main fabric. So going back to what you said about that beautiful the rose fabric. Yeah, so you've got oodles left over. There's a lot of fabric in there, so it's great for other projects. And then last but not least, again, there's our little tabs that I've already gone ahead and cut out.
So across the top for the magnet clasp.
That's it, right. Everything else is cutting fabric directly, so you need to be cutting in this case, your patches, your squares. So these are 2 3/4 inch squares, and you need, because obviously you're having a front and a back, so it's 12 of your light or dark colour, and then the more dominant one is 24 of them. So you need 12, in this case, 12 of the white. I've gone 12 with the, what colour are we calling this now? What did you call it? Like an aqua colour?
Yes.
With the aqua, and then I've gone 24 in my spot.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so you need to go ahead and do that ahead of time. And then you also need to cut out a pocket piece, which will be where we're inserting our zip into. So again, that's just a standard rectangle, so there's not a pattern for that. And then for the lining, you're actually going to use the bag once you've constructed the front panel. You're going to use that as your pattern for your lining. Okay, right. So I just wanted to walk through the kind of things that you're doing. So there's lots of different ways of creating a pattern in this pattern workshop, which is what I really like about it. So you really are using all of your skills in the pattern itself. So, right, straight ahead, we're going to get on with our patching. So you can see we've got a combination that I've already gone ahead and done already. So I'm just going to walk you through that one now. So the next line of panelling is going to be this one with the whites. So you need 3 of your lighter colours, like so, and 2 of your spots. And then the last panel is going to be more spots and 2 of the darker colours, like so. Okay? So that's how that front panel looks. And you just repeat that again on the other side, which is why you need 24 of your spots and only 12 of your lights and your darks.
Okay, right, yes,
okay?
yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and sew these together. So like I say, this is quite a new thing for me, because I'm not necessarily a quilter, so it's been quite nice. It's been a nice learning curve for me. So I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, which I believe is the correct one to use, which is good. So this is really strange for me, because I'm used to a good 1.5 centimetre seam. So I'm like, how small is this seam? It's tinky tiny, but it is going to be worth it. So it's just about getting those combinations together. So as we did in our first hour with our cutting mat bag, you need to get your rotary cutter out and your mat out to get those nice and accurate for when you're putting your pieces together. But the instructions are really, really good, actually, Derek. If I want to pass those over to you.
This is the fun bit as well, isn't it, actually, putting all of these together?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something I've done so far. Actually, they're really, really comprehensive, aren't they? So let me give you a quick squiz at those. Tells you what you need. And with every fabric bundle, you will get these... in fact, I'll just flip that round as well and show you the other side. So it's good pictorial instructions, but again, very, very simple. And again, it even uses the shading in the patchwork there to show you.
So you can really see what you're doing, absolutely.
So you can get your coordination right. In fact, you could even write onto these if you wanted to, blue, spot, whatever it may be.
So in the kit, you've got 4 different ones, in different from your main fabric. So in this case, it was the horse or the nautical. You've got your collection of 4 fabrics there. So obviously, how you make your checkerboard is entirely up to you. You don't have to go how I've done it at all. If you prefer the aqua, then obviously use that as the more dominative square. Do you know what I mean? So you can really play around with this as much as you like. And also, because you have so much fabric left over of your main fabric, why not, make some squares out of that fabric if you wanted to. There's absolutely nothing stopping you, because there are oodles of fabric in that bundle.
On some of them as well, if you wanted to almost sort of add them as a plique, you could do on the side that's all sort of patchwork. If you wanted to fussy cut some of the, horses, for instance, out of the feature fabric and sort of a plique those onto the front of the bag, that could work very, very nicely indeed, or just leave it as is. I think it's got a really nice... I love the palettes on this one. It's a really, really sophisticated mix of colours, isn't it?
It is. It's lovely. Really, really nice. Right then, so now we need to get the iron out, my darling, if that's all right.
Yes, of course.
So I'm going to move this out of the way. So I'm just going to bring my patches together. So I'm going to press my seams down ahead of time because I'm going to, I'm not sure what the correct term is, but I'm going to use that press to link my pieces together because obviously I want all of my patches to meet up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is this on? No.
No.
Need a hot iron.
That'll be... You know why? Because we had the little finger iron just a moment ago. Which is actually...
That was cute. I could do with that now.
I'm not sure if it's still on, actually. You could use that one if you wanted to.
We're winning on this one now.
OK.
Is it still hot? Don't touch it. Just go close to it.
I don't really know. No.
No. Is the light on? That's always a good indicator.
Oh, no.
The light's not on.
Wow. I tell you what. Don't send a boy to do a man's job.
So that's that one done. So I'm just pressing all of my seams into the spot fabric because that's the darker one of the two at the moment. So I know that when I butt them together, one's going to be going in one direction and the other's going to be going in the other direction. So that's why I'm making sure I'm pushing them all into the same fabric.
Right.
Okay. So if I just pop that there, thank you very much. Right. Okay. So I've got my my two pieces of fabric all nice and pressed. So what I was talking about, you can see that I've pressed my seam into the spot here, and then the same here, I've pressed my seams into the spot on that one. So when I'm putting my two fabrics together, again, sorry if you already know this, guys, but I'm like, this is amazing, because I'm not a quilter. What I'm doing is I'm basically butting those two seam edges together, because you've got the seam allowances pressed. They kind of like, they meet and they don't move, and that's what you want. So they're butting up together, whereas if you all press, you get quite bulky. Does that make sense? So it's almost like they're interlocking each other.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and sew these together.
Isabel has sent us a message. She says she's loving today's show. Thanks, everyone.
Aww.
Isabel, with a kiss on the bottom.
Thank you.
Of the message. Teresa in Northumberland has been in touch as well, saying, what is the overall size of the city shopper?
There's a tape measure.
Right. Oh.
Get measuring.
Wow.
I don't know off the top of my head, I'm afraid.
Whoa, look at that. I fixed it to my thumb. Right. That's OK. It's drama, Paul. It's a bit of theatre, isn't it? Bit of theatre, isn't it, measuring? That's why she's got me working now. Right. The length is... Oh, now this is a boy. Width. I knew that. 15 inches by... I'm going to lay it down to do the depth.
Depth, well done.
Depth.
And go to the centre seam.
Going to the centre seam. 13 and a half inches-ish. Shall I do depth?
Yes.
Depth?
Yeah.
Have I done that already?
No, width, height,
That's
depth.
it.
You're
height.
all right. It's all right.
Yeah. Width, I'd say about 7 and a half, depending on how packed it is. And now here's how to actually measure it. Are you doing its waist size as well?
Doing its waist size now. 40.
40 waist on a bag.
40 waist. 40 hip. 40 hip.
Very
good. It's a big bag.
Lovely.
It's a big bag. Right, I'm going to sew this together now, and then we're ready to get on with our excitement. Oh, you look dead professional. Look at him.
Like a proper tailor now.
With your waistcoat and everything.
Tailor. There you go.
OK, I'm just butting my seams up again.
Right.
Sorry if that's not the technical term. So like I said, this was a really nice pattern for me because I was learning new skills in the pattern. I think that's what I like about using a pattern sometimes, because you end up picking skills up that you wouldn't necessarily be using. So even though I know how to do a zip, for me doing this patchwork is something new to me.
And actually doing it well is a thing as well, isn't it? If you well, yes, it was a compliment.
I'm taking it.
But it's yours. It's yours. It's yours to take home. Just going to pop that down so we can see.
I was hiding under that.
I know you were. Don't know why.
On purpose.
What was I saying? Yes, doing it well. Doing it well.
Doing
Marvellous.
it well.
I'll quit while I'm ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so I've finished my patch now. Yay!
Very good.
Right, okay, so there we have. So doing the butt-up technique, I'm calling it the butt-up technique, sorry if it's incorrect, but it just gives you really nice points on your squares, so you can see that they're not overlapping here and there. So I'm actually really pleased with those.
That's brilliant.
I'm going to give myself a little pat on the back for those.
Loving your work.
But it just helps butt those seams up so they're all nice and lovely. So once you've gone ahead and pressed your patch again, so again I'm just going to push all my seams in the one direction. We're going to go on to quilting and then inserting the zip, which I think is probably the most technical part of the bag, to be honest with you. If you're going to do the waddings and the interfacings and interlinings, then the other technical thing would be the sheer bulk of the bag. As you can see, it's really plush finish. It's a really professional finish.
It is fantastic.
There's a lot going on in that bag. So the other thing that I think that people may struggle with a little bit is just the sheer thickness of the bag, and therefore I would strongly suggest that if you haven't got one, grab one, get a walking foot. You won't just need it for this project. I use it for dressmaking, even though normally you would use it for quilting.
Yes.
Because when you're using difficult fabrics, things like corduroy or velvet, you need something that's going to grab onto that fabric. So it's definitely a tool for both quilters and for sewists. Yeah. So grab one of those.
I'm just going to grab you the interfacing. In fact, I've got the foam here as well. Let's look at both.
Have you got them out? Okay,
let's look at both. I'll start with the foam. I'll just pop the bag down there for a second. I'm going to start with the foam because this is fantastic. And again, this is for structuring many different projects as well. I guess.
That would be really nice in our cutting mat bag, actually. I think.
Yeah, you could use that in the same kind of way. So you can see it's a small layer of foam, and almost the outside of it does feel like almost like an interfacing feel to it, doesn't it? Again, that's very nice indeed. So how much do we get? This is a Visseline, and we're looking at 1 metre of this. Now, do I need to measure the width of this as well, so we know?
Oh, look at him getting his tape measure out.
Well, it's just an excuse to get my tape measure out, quite frankly. So what have we got this in at the moment? 1 metre. Right, so I'd better do this in centimetres, hadn't I? Right, 73 centimetres wide, which in inches is 28.5 inches wide by 1 metre. Because that's worth knowing, actually, because that's a heck of a lot.
That's a lot.
And you won't use... Well, this is for the... This is the whole of the bag, isn't it, including the bottom?
Yes. So when I talked about once you've patched, and this will make more sense once we get to that stage, once you've got the kind of the frame or silhouette of the bag, sorry, is probably a good word. And what you would use at that as a pattern for your lining is exactly the same pattern that you would use for this wadding.
Oh, right, okay. Right, we also have some fleece as well,
which we're going to need in a minute.
Which we'll need in a second. So I'll just show you this just ahead of time. This is fusible fleece as well, is it?
Yes.
Yes, because I can feel it's bobbly on one side, and it's fleecy and soft on the other side. There you go.
Like an armadillo.
Oh, it is. It's lovely. RPGQ40. Again, this is 1 metre piece, and I think this is going to be 1 metre by 1 metre, actually. I think this is probably going to be 1 metre square, yes, because it's folded in 4 there.
Yeah.
Even any idiot could work that out, even this one. £9.95. So there's the details. RPGQ40.
Okay.
Right.
So funny enough, you mentioned that last facing there.
Yes.
It was the fusible wadding that we're going to be using next. So as you can see, I've put all my patches together. I've also added the base piece as well, so that's gone ahead and done that already ahead of time again. So now we're going to be fusing our wadding to our patched piece.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're a quilter, honestly, guys, this stuff is just lovely. I think you'll really like it. Okay, so we're going to place it on top of each other. Now, you need to add some steam onto this, or a damp cloth. So because we can't have steam in the studio, we're going to use a damp cloth.
We've got a damp cloth.
So I'm hoping that it's sufficiently damp.
Damp, yes, because everything dries out in here.
It's quite warm in here, so hopefully this will do the trick.
Yeah, my love.
But those bobbles that you were talking about there,
Yes. Is it on?
It is on.
It is on, yes.
I'm just worried that we're going to stick to our...
Oh, it's we've got a microfiber, that's why.
No, that's not going to work. Right, OK, let's try. I'm just going to go direct and hopefully the heat will help it fuse. But you do need that moisture that to make that stick. I bet you it's not going to work, is it? Let's turn it down a little bit, shall we?
Do we need to wet something else?
We need steam, effectively. I don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah.
Oh, let's try something. Let me try something else. Let's try the other way.
Should we get a normal cloth?
Yeah.
Like
maybe let's try another one.
Let's try a wet tea towel, Amy, instead. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Oh, I saw steam.
Yeah.
Oh, it's working.
That's working, that's working.
Right, we've done it. We're all right.
We're all good.
We're there.
So you see how the steam helped then?
Yeah.
Once it's stuck, it's stuck. So
yes.
it's just, obviously at home you'd use your steam setting, but again, a damp cloth.
Yes.
Maybe I'll take that back.
Oh, it's not quite damp enough, is it?
Not quite damp enough.
OK, well, maybe the tea towel again.
Tea towel or not to tea towel?
The wetter the better.
Not too wet.
Right, shall I go and look at some fabric while we fix this?
I might go run outside and use the
telly,
steam.
don't we love live telly? Right, let's start then with the one that Jen's using right now, which is the nautical one, isn't it? Which is the seaside one. I love this. It's really, really nice. So we'll start with the feature fabric, which is very, very nice indeed. Look at this. It's got everything going on, hasn't it? There's seahorses. There's little ship's wheels on there. There's whales, there's waves, there's fish, there's seagulls. In fact, every time you look at it, you see something new. There's lighthouses and all sorts. So you've got a ½ metre of that. And on this one, we get which is the one that we get a metre of on this one? Ocean. Is that the spot on? Oh, OK, yes, so a metre of the ocean. The spot on is marine. We've got azure, which is a beautiful... that was the one that we couldn't find the name for earlier, that Jennifer's using. It's azure. And you also have the antique white, a ½ metre of that. Does come with the pattern and the thread as well there. So that's RRGC 91. Oh, she's fixed it. She felt one. Oh, she's been steamy elsewhere, I think. Which one should we do next? Horses. Wild horses. This is the most popular, and this is because, obviously, this is the pre-made that Jen bought in this morning. And again, it's a lovely, lovely sort of country living feel, isn't it? It's a really lovely palette of colours, actually, that we've got going on here. So you've got a ½ metre of your horse fabric, but you use next to none of that, by the way, in your project. You get a metre of your mocha, which I'm going to go ahead and guess is this one, as I've got more of it. You also get your ½ metre of your cappuccino, I think it's called. There's the spot on in stone, and then there's the ecru as well in a ½ metre, plus the pattern, plus the thread as well. £29.45. VGGC 99. Let's do the stars next. And then we'll do my favourite, which is the rose. I love the rose. I think it's fantastic. So stars. Let's do stars now. This is a really, really nice one. Great to make this city shopper as well, because of just the vibrancy of the stars. You see how they sort of leap out, the whites and the lighter colours. It's almost like they pop out of the fabric. And then the contrasting fabrics that we have with these is brilliant. You get a metre of the spot-on silver, which is this one here at the back. And you see the way these two go together just amazingly well, don't they? Look at that. It's lovely. So you're going to get a metre of that silver spot on. You get a metre of the... or ½ a metre, should I say, of the slate. ½ a metre of flamingo, which is the pink. and 1/2 metre of the Christmas red as well, plus the thread, plus the pattern there as well. That's DDGC24, DDGC24 at 29.45. Right, and my favourite now, and finally, and then I'm back. You all steamed up now?
I am.
Yeah, all steamed up and ready to go. Finally, here is the floral. This is now the most popular. I'm not surprised. Ladies and gentlemen with exquisite taste out there, this is just the most beautifully rich, and I think actually you'll want to incorporate this floral into many other projects. I'm thinking I'd love some cushions in that fabric. So 1/2 metre of that. You also get 1/2 metre of the, is it grass linear? 1/2 metre of vanilla. 1/2 metre of the spot-on mauve. 1 metre of lichen, that's it. The linear fabric was called lichen. We're liking that a lot. He said it in my ear 3 times, so I better say it now. You also get the thread and you get the pattern. You can blame Paul for that one, by the way. If you were groaning there, you can groan in Paul's direction. He won't mind. Right, okay. Okay.
Getting ahead of myself.
So you got your steam all sorted. Oh, you're quilting now.
I've got my steam all sorted. I'm just going ahead of time, that's all, guys.
Yes, right.
Okay, so so with a bit of steam at home, it will stick. So just to get a close-up on that, it's got little bits of like a heat activated glue, little bobbly bits.
Bobbly bits.
Okay, so make sure you're putting the bobbly bits onto the wrong side of your fabric, because that's what's going to stick. Whereas on this side, you can see that it's all nice and smooth. Probably like you would find your normal wadding. Okay, so this is the only difference between that. And it is a really, really nice, firm, nice one to do. And what I just really like about it, again, being a non-quilter, is that, okay, I've done some quilting on there, but, you know, I've really got to peel it back.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it really does stick.
Yes.
So it just keeps it all flat, so then you can really work in it without having to put loads of pins or loads of tacking in it. So I really like the project.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so basically you can see that I've basically only fused all of this section, including the base section. Okay, and then you obviously would repeat that for the other side of the bag as well.
Yes.
Go ahead and start quilting in. So I've just done 2 quilt lines here, and I'm going to do another one here and another one there for you. But you could go across again if you want. You could go diagonally. Do whatever you want in this section, but you are going to be quilting in this area.
If you had your, I always put my arm out when I think of these, overlocker.
Yeah.
With the long arm. You can put it down now, Derek. You could do some free form as well, quilting if you wanted to.
Overlocker?
You wouldn't necessarily... Do I mean overlocker?
No, overlocker's when it cuts and binds.
I mean the quilting...
Oh, the free arm thing?
Yes.
Yes.
So I could do some free arm quilting.
You could do some free motion quilting on that. Yeah,
some
basically,
squiggles.
anything you can squiggle it. That's the technical term, isn't it? Squiggling. So all I'm going to do is just do just a single line. I've done parallels there, but I am just going to do singles there. So I'm literally just stitching in the ditch now, in between those 2 layers of the fabrics where they meet. Again, this is just to add decoration more than anything, but it does help when it comes to inserting the zip, which is why I'm just doing singles at the moment. I would have done doubles to kind of echo what I've done already, but because of speed, I'm just going to do just single lines of stitching. Again, you don't have to do doubles if you don't want to. It's absolutely your bag. You can do what you like with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so once we've done this is where I'm getting very excited now, because we're about to do our pockets with our zip, which I'm really excited about. And the finish is just a really nice one as well for buttonholes as well. So if you want to do nice clean buttonholes with fabric, then this is a nice tip for you. Okay, so we've got our piece already done. So we're ready to do our zip now. So we need our zip. So this is a 7-inch, which is an 18-centimetre zip.
Yeah.
And then you need 2 pieces of fabric that are definitely wider than your zip, and again you can make it as a deeper pocket as you like. The instructions does give you a pocket measurement, but it's your pocket, make it as deep as you like, okay, because obviously you know what you're going to be putting in and out of that pocket. So you need 2 pieces. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is fold our pocket in half lengthways, and again just give it a quick finger press. You could get the iron out if you wanted to, but just do a quick finger press, because all I'm really interested in is what's the central point of that pocket. And then we're going to do the same again with our piece of patch. So this time I'm going to concentrate mainly on the centre square, because then I know that this is going to be bang on.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to fold that edge to edge, and I will actually pop a little notch in that one. Okay, so I can see where that is. So now it's about creating our window. So I'm going to take my pocket, keep it folded in half, and I'm going to place it on the central part of our bag, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to open it out. So you notice that I'm doing this on the outside of the bag.
Yeah.
This is what's really quite clever about this way of doing this pocket. So I'm going to pop a few pins just out of the way for the moment, just to keep our piece of fabric nice and flat while I do the next bit. Careful not to pin yourself to the ironing board. Let's go that way, actually, because I'm going to get in the way.
Oh, just a very, very quick stock update. You know, the floral bundle just happens to be my favourite. If everyone checks out, we've less than a handful. And that is a beauty, that one. And just again, just to reiterate, Jen, that on these, your feature fabric, where you're getting a ½ metre, you're using next to none of that.
Maybe not even a quarter of a metre, I think.
Right. Okay, so you've got plenty left over.
Yeah.
I wonder whether we... speak to the team as to whether we have bigger quantities of that fabric if you want it aside that.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to draw our window in now. So I'm just going to turn this around just to make it easier for myself. So this is the top of the bag, and I know it is because I can see that this is the base with our sea-themed fabric on.
Yeah.
So I'm going to come down an inch from the top. I'm going to draw a quick line. So I'm just going to stagger it. Now, this is obviously a water erasable, so it will come out. And basically, it's going to be a 3-inch window. So you can see that I'm putting the 3-inch mark on that folded section. You can almost see the crease on the TV.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the end of my box there and there. Okay. I'm then going to go down ½ an inch. This is where these grids really do help. And again, I'm just going to draw that. So there's the end of our box. So you've got a 6-inch across, ½ an inch down box, and it's 1 inch away from the top. Okay. And it's basically where that fold line, you're centralising from that fold line. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to stitch that box in place.
Ah, okay, right. Yeah. Oh, I get where we're going now. I get where we're going.
So again, rather than starting in the corner, I would come away a little bit and start on the 6-inch length. So come away from the corner. It just makes it a lot neater. We're going to trace around the marks that we've made with our water erasable pen.
Oh, I've just been told, by the way, that floral fabric that I love, it is only in that bundle. It is only in that bundle. Oh, we're going to have words with somebody, aren't we? We're going to have words with somebody. But seriously, it's beautiful. And we've literally done for the last 2 or 3, I think it is, of that bundle. I'll get the details back up for you with that floral. I'm sorry to keep banging on about it. It was such a beautiful fabric, though. It really is. It's very classic. It's very, very sort of traditional. So there's the details. LIGC 77, £31.45. I'd have it for just that floral fabric. Everything else is just a bonus, isn't it?
I love it. Well, the thing is, when you get solids like that, you put them into all your projects, can't you? So it is very handy. Yeah. OK, so you can see that I've sewn my box in place now, so that's all done. And you can see that I basically went around the corner and then joined up the lines where I started. OK, so you're sewing over that. Again, you can do a back stitch if you want, but I try and avoid doing that unless you can really see what you're doing. But once you've done that, we're ready to cut. Now, this is where it gets a little bit, what? You're going to cut into that lovely patch? Yes, I'm going to cut into that patch. So I'm going to fold the fabric in half. So I'm just using that halfway point, and I'm literally going to cut into the centre of the box that I've just sewn. OK, so just do a little snip so you can get into it.
Okay.
Okay, so I've just done a little snip to get into it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to cut towards the edge of the box, but don't go too far. So I've left, maybe not even half an inch, like a quarter of an inch, yeah? But maybe 1 centimetre.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do a Y cut. And that Y cut needs to go right to the tip of the box, but do not, by any means, cut those stitches. That's super, super important.
That's nothing to do with this being a YKK zip, though?
No, nothing to do with the YKK zip.
Okay.
So we've got a little triangle there, so I'm going to rotate that round and do that again. So again, we're coming towards the edge of our box, leaving about 1 centimetre away. Clip towards the corner, clip towards the corner, and again, making very certain that you've not cut those stitches.
No.
Okay, so this is why I like to call this a letterbox, because what you're going to do is post your lining through your letterbox.
Oh, see.
Okay, so the front becomes the back now. So if I just turn that around. Ta-da! So this is where you need to get your iron out again and give it a nice press. So what I'm going to do is just tease that out first, pop a pin.
I know my place.
You're picking up the hints, aren't you? The little tips. Get me the iron.
Yeah. I'm just glad to be of some use.
You're always a use, Derek. What are you on about?
I love it.
And when you're not here, we've got Derek the Dobber.
I have, yeah. I'm always here.
Are you proud that you're called after Derek the Dobber? I don't know if that's actually the case, by the way.
In legend. Yeah, it is. It's a John Scott thing.
Oh, is it?
You know how he says, like, my ears are upside down?
Does he say that?
Yeah, yeah. He says I've got upside down ears.
I don't think they are.
No, they're not. They're fine. It's one of his things.
Fair enough. Okay. So now we've got our lining out of the way. We're going to just give that a press. So just be careful what pins you're using here, guys.
Yes.
Because if they're not glass-headed, you're going to melt them, which is why I've tried to keep them out of the way, because these aren't glass-headed. But you want to basically press that bulky seam down. It'll just make it a lot easier for when we come to do our zip, which is going to be next. Okay, let me just move out of the way for you.
I'll get your zip details in a second when we get to that as well.
That's what it looks like in the front.
Now, look at that.
It's nice and clean, isn't it? Hello, Mr. Postman.
And straight through a patchwork section.
It's nice, isn't it? That's really good. So basically, talking about buttonholes, just imagine this is an oversized buttonhole. So if you wanted a fabric one, then you could just minimise this. You can make this as big or small as you like, basically. You could even have a pocket detail without having to put a zip in, just like that. Do you know what I mean? It just gives you that really nice, clean finish. So you can apply this to lots of different projects. But we're going to do a zip now. Okay, so what we're going to need to do, we've got our 7-inch zip, and this is a 6-inch hole, isn't it? So we know that we're going to be able to get in and out of that, no problem.
Right.
You're going to place that, so I'm just going to put my zip underneath. I'm actually going to lift the head up and really butt that zip head up to the edge of our letterbox. Okay, so what you just need to try and do is get this in the centre of it, like so. This is the more tricky bit about just getting it pinned in place. That's one side. And now it's the second side. Well, it's probably a bit close, actually. That's better.
So you want that to be right in the
centre.
middle,
in the centre.
Full instructions are in with the fabric bundles anyway, so you will get this instruction, but you'll no doubt come back to the YouTube video of today's show to, how did I do
that again? Okay, I'm going to move these pins out of the way now because my pressing should keep it all in place. But basically, once you've got your zip pinned in place, what we're going to then do is top stitch around the whole of that letterbox, and that will secure your zip in place. If I just bring in our bag here.
Yes.
So you can see how I've top stitched all the way around the zip.
Yeah.
And it's that top stitching that's keeping that zip in place.
Okay, right,
Okay.
Yeah.
Like so. Okay. So there's the lining on the inside, which we'll get to in a second. So I'm just going to go around and quickly sew that into place.
Alrighty. That's fantastic.
It's a nice finish, isn't it?
We have about 5 minutes left already.
Cool.
Where do these hours go? What happens to them? They just vanish. They just vanish.
They do vanish. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually, rather than changing the foot and to save time, I'm just going to use the width stitch.
Yeah.
The width of the stitch, sorry, and bring it across so it's taking my needle close to the zip edge, and that way I'm not having to change my needle, my foot, to a zipper foot.
Yeah.
Because I'm just using the machine capabilities to get me closer to where I need to be. Okay. So you need to take this really nice and steady, guys. I'm taking it steady. I'm not even like breathing. Okay. So going across. So this is where you need to go across your zips. This is where you need to be careful. So unless you are buying a plastic toothed zip, do not do this. Okay.
Okay, right.
Because you're going to break your machine. But it will.
Oh yes. That was like driving over the train tracks, you know, at level crossing, wasn't it?
Is it going to go? Is it going to go? Okay. So just take your time, guys. I mean, if you wanted to hand base that into place first with a tacking stitch and then go with the machine, whatever's easiest for you. But I am just going super quick at the moment because we're running out of time. So I'm just going to move the zip head out of the way. So I'm just putting the needle into the fabric, passing the zip past the foot, and that way I can just carry on with that. I mean, getting a little dink in the row, that's the last thing we want because this is a very visible stitch. And now I'm just joining up where I finished off. And again, I'm going to use the handy little cut tool to give me a nice clean finish. Right, okay, so that's that done. Ta-da!
Wow. It's good as well. It's nice and neat, isn't it?
Nice and neat fish. I mean, that is a little bit rushed, but that's pretty good considering it's been done quite quickly. Right, so we can move on to the next section now, which is the lining. And all you need to do is just turn that around, get your other piece, place that on top of it, pin it, and then you just need to sew around the lining and only the lining. Okay, so you're not going into this section at all. It's
yes, because you'll go through your quilting.
You don't want to be going through your quilting.
And your zip and everything
Yeah,
else.
exactly. So you need to match up your fabric. So let's just do the corners first.
So you need to pin quite close to the inside then, because it's going to be a little bit of a...
Yeah, so this is probably the only tricky part here, because you've only got maybe not even like 3/4 of an inch to play with. So that section's probably the most difficult section, which is the one closest to the zip.
Yeah.
However, this corner, that corner, and that corner should be more than easy to do because it's well away from the fabric.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're basically going to be sewing the whole thing all the way around, and then when you open up your bag, your pocket, sorry, you've got all of your lining on the inside of your bag then. So this will not be visible on the inside. You're going to have lining. So this is all in the inner workings.
Yes. Let's show you on...
So finished. I'll sew that while you're quickly doing.
Yes, let me show you on finished said bag. We got a minute and a half left. What can we do in a minute and a half?
Minute and a half.
So the zip on this one, on the finished one, the zip, as you can see, is there, but because we're fitting in the zip pocket lining and then the bag lining, in essence, it's sort of lined twice, isn't it? Oh, yes, and actually, you've used the foam, haven't you, in the... Between the lining
between the two layers
and the pocket.
So I can do that super quick. In fact, I'll ditch the pocket and move on to the next section.
Right, okay.
Okay, so once you've got your pocket sewn up, you're ready then to attach what would be your side panels, which are... Oh, here they are, right in front of me. Okay, so these are interfaced.
Okay.
Okay, so that's with your standard sort of cuff, collar, craft interfacing.
Yep.
So not only has this got a bit of body, but this has also got a little bit of body. Right sides together, and that would obviously be sewn there and there.
Yep.
Okay. So you might need to do a little bit of trimming on the bottom there, which is fine.
Yep.
But once you've got that sewn together, that's when you bring in your craft. Sorry, not what do I call it craft for? This big wadding, because then that will become a template for the wadding. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So then you would cut that out, and that's your pattern for the rest of the bag.
For the whole of the inside.
Yes. So you've got your that section would be sewn together.
Yeah.
You would then use that as your template to then cut your lining out, which I was going to do in our darker blue.
Yeah.
So you obviously have your front and your back. You'd have a front and a back in your lining as well. But there's nothing stopping you adding pockets on the lining as well, so don't stop there. You know, you could just do a simple patch pocket. This could be a very, very intense bag. I love it.
I love it. And we've got the full instructions that come with the bundles as well. I've got to rush over and see the bundles. Thank you, my darling.
See you.
I will see you through the window. Very, very soon, I hope. Right, let's show you, first of all, the most popular. And, of course, it was the one that Jenniffer pre-made for us before we even started today's show. And it's this one. It's really, really lovely. It's 3 metres all told in your fabric. You get a ½ metre of your feature fabric, which with this one is the horse. You have these other solids and spot-on as well, plus the thread and the pattern as well. VGGC99 is your code at £29.45. Next up, I will show you the Stars bundle, which again is beautiful. Your feature fabric here are the most beautiful, vibrant stars in sort of maroons and deep reds. You've also got 1 metre of your steel spot on, your silver steel spot on, and plus your solids as well. All goes really nicely together with the thread and the pattern there as well. DDGC24 is your item number for this one. Next up will be the Nautical, which I love, which is the one that we've been demoing with in this hour. This is great. Every time you look at this fabric, you'll see something new. That's the great thing about it. There's seagulls in there, there's stripes and waves and anchors and everything. Let me show you the other fabrics that go with those as well. You go from really light fabrics through your blues and marines there as well, plus the thread and the pattern, which comes with the instructions as well there for you. RRGC91. And the last one is my favourite. And I just need to check the stock on this one to see that it is still available. Fingers crossed, because we were looking at just the final, very last few of these. Right, OK. It is literally the last couple of these. So you've got ½ metre of your floral, plus your linear lichen there and the lighter colours. I love it. It's just a really, really lovely bundle. Comes with the thread and comes with the pattern there as well. LIGC77. You can see that in more detail on our website at sewingquarter.com. Whoa, that's gone quickly, that hour, hasn't it? We have one more to do, and it's a Swivel tote bag coming up next with Jo Carter. So please do stay right where you are. Any questions you have, by the way, studio@sewingquarter.com. I'd love to hear from you. Stay right where you are. I'm back in around about 3 minutes with wonderful Jo Carter.
Follow us on Twitter for more inspiration, top tips, news, and share your own creations with us. The Sewing Quarter website is simple and easy to use. You can view a live broadcast of the show on our homepage. Get instant access to our online shop, which has a wide range of wonderful products for you to choose from. You can also enjoy a selection of projects and guides which we have on offer to help you enhance your skills and gain valuable tips. Watch the live shows and you can buy the product which is currently being shown on air. You can even message the studio to ask our presenters or team any questions you might have. Below, you'll find all the products from today's show for you to look at and purchase. On the right of the screen, next to today's products, you will find our simple program guide listing all upcoming shows. So, join us today at sewingquarter.com.
Hone your dressmaking technique this Friday as Paul Clark demonstrates 2 lovely handmade pieces. His first project, a gorgeous kimono jacket, brings a classic shape bang up to date. Versatile and on trend, this jacket can be mixed and matched to suit all seasons and almost every occasion. Following the success of his last shirt making demonstration, Paul will then show us how to make a fabulous novelty boys shirt. With some colourful fabrics on hand, Paul will share his top tips, tricks and techniques in his usual warm and witty style. So join us and Paul Clark on Friday the 8th of September at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. only on Sewing Quarter, Freeview Channel 78. This weekend, Joe Carter's famous soft toys make their eagerly awaited return, featuring some familiar favourites and new faces. Saturday sees Joe's Budgie Buddies take centre stage as she shows us how to make our own chirpy pair in brand new colour options. Then she'll turn her hand to a range of delightful Tilda creations with a sneaky appearance from this colourful fox. On Sunday, Joe's back with even more marvellous makes. In a brief break from soft toy making, she'll demonstrate a fabulous feather cushion created by fellow designer Joe Avery. Then, Joe will demonstrate an adorable Dash Hound-inspired sausage dog toy, brand new to Sewing Quarter, and a real treat for the dog lovers amongst us. So, tune in at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. on Saturday the 9th, and at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. on Sunday the 10th of September for these Joe Carter specials, only on Sewing Quarter, Freeview Channel 78.
Hello again, welcome back. It's the final hour already. This morning has just gone. It's just flown away, hasn't it? A welcome to Wednesday Sewing Quarter with Derek right the way through until midday. And it's bag day today, which is brilliant, and everyone I know is loving it. Thank you for all your lovely messages and your feedback as well. I know it's very, very busy today as well. If you've missed any of the earlier hours, do make sure that you have a little look at what is available, because it's been, I mean, it's just been one of those days, let me tell you, here at Sewing Quarter. And it's going to be another one. It's going to be another one of those in this hour as well, because this time we have our Swivel tote bag. I love this. Very, very, very nice indeed. Great, isn't it? Right, well, let's look at the bundle first of all that this bag was made from. Now, this is another one where the fabric and the thread is one, and then you choose the handles, and I'll give you details for all of those as well in just a second. But let's start with this. Oh, love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's Floral Dots and Stripes bundle. So it's 2 meters of fabric all together. It's 1 meter of your Ocean Macawa solid and 1 meter of bright red. Plus, you get your fat quarter bundle here as well, which is beautiful. Look at that. That's nice. And this we've used to make some of the patchworking on the bag as well. Love these fabrics. They're great. Actually, it's really, really, very, very nice, isn't it, to have a sort of a black background fabric with nice, bright colours there. That's quite sort of mesmerising, isn't it? That's really nice. Almost like one of those sort of magic eye pictures. Again, lots of florals through this as well. And this is for the patchworking that happens down the side of the bag. You do get the thread with this as well. It's called Floral Dots and Stripes bundle. And it's YOGC22. Very, very nice indeed. Right, okay, so where should we go next? Let's go for this one. This one. This is the... Let's see what this is. Iris bundle, this one. Love the colours. Love the colours. Look, 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 look. Again, Macawa solids, dark green, and you're getting a mocha here as well. Just love the sheen on these fabrics. And here's your fat quarter bundle here, so you've got lots and lots of different colours to work with here. Again, all which key in just beautifully. You've got whites, light blues there, teals, turquoise, purple, navy. It's all going on. Plus your thread, £24 and 45 pence. RQ GC88. RQ GC88 is your item number for that one. And finally, We're calling this Rose, and it's based on the fat quarters this time. So it's 1 metre each of your 2 Makawa solids. We've got a lovely sort of deep, dark, sort of chocolatey brown, and I'm thinking this is like a cappuccino, is it? Let's see what they call them this time. It is chocolate and cappuccino. I was right. Hooray! That doesn't happen often. Here's your fat quarter bundle as well. These are beautiful. Look at those. So this is why this is called the Rose Bundle, of course, because you've got all of these floral pinks here. You've got a nice deep sort of raspberry and lovely brighter sort of bubblegum and candy floss pinks. And again, some lovely creams to key in with the chocolate and the cappuccino. Plus the thread, all yours at £24.45. Right, let's talk handles. Now, the handle on the one that we've got here on the Maid is these. These are lovely. It's funny because actually if I turn these the other way around for a second, they almost look like sort of calla lilies, don't they? Very, very nice indeed. So this one is called Marine. Marine, did you say? Oh, Marie. Sorry, Marie as in the lady's name. I thought you were saying Marine, Paul. Sorry. Marie. Marie. So it's a pair of handles in this. This will be a pleather, won't it? So a PU leather. £19.95. And in fact, actually, it's probably more... Oh, they are leather, are they? They are leather. Yes, that would be right for the price, sorry. I talk about shoes on another channel, and that would be right, £19.95 for that amount of leather. So they are leather handles. Very luxurious, and we've used them in the finished make there. So that's FSPH01. Oh, I know my handles, you know. Now, these are more of a canvas handle, actually. These are very sweet. So this is a pleather with the polyester handles, but it's got a piping and a sort of a tubing through the centre of it, which gives it real rigidity. And you can see the little embellishments here are hearts with little sort of brass clover studs in them. This is called... They give them all ladies' names. Clara. Hello, Clara. Lovely. £13.95. Oomph 50. And finally, oh, Laura. We saw Laura before, didn't we, in the last hour? We had Laura in the last hour, didn't we, with the other one. Now, these are a pleather, so a PU leather. And they've got the little clasps there on the end as well, the sort of clip clasps, aren't they, which go into the D-rings. So these are Laura. We saw these in the last hour as well. £13.95. VBPH59. Right, lovely. Let's go do some doing then, shall we? I'll take the bag with me as well. Let's go and see Jo. Hello, lovely Jo.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing very well. Sorry, I've spread out stuff already.
Swivel tote. Why is it called a swivel tote?
I think because these side bits sort of swivel round. I don't know. And the hook, this sort of swivel fastening.
Oh, I see. Right, yes, it's almost like a big sort of senorita clasp on the finished one. I think that's an individual item as well, is it, Paul? OK, let me get you that in as well before we get started, and then we've got everything sorted. So it's almost like a large, well, like a way large, oversized senorita clasp, actually, you see in jewellery. So it's like sort of, instead of D-rings, you've got large ovals on either side, and then you've got this great big sort of senorita clasp in the centre. And it's all in like an antique brass finish. £5.50. NJPH85. And one more thing I have to show you. There's always one more thing, Jo, isn't there? Always one more thing. It's the book. So this project comes from this book I'm hoping.
It does?
It does, good. This is, thank you, Jo. I'm glad you know. It's Quilted Bags and Gifts, 36 projects by Akimi Shibata. Oh, and there is that's the bag that we're doing, isn't it?
That's the one.
On the front cover, there you go. £12.95. Very good. Nice little deal. Nice little book, that as well. Let's have a little quick look. Oh, there's lots, isn't it? Is it all full of bags? Boston bag, Hawaiian carry-all. There's all sorts going on in there. You'll have to get one of those. You'll have to get one of those. They're very, very good indeed. Right. Right, Jo. Where do we begin with this wonder? This is lovely, isn't it?
we begin with the patchwork, these pieced sections here.
Oh, OK. We'll turn you to the side there. This is why we have the fat quarters in these bundles, isn't it? And actually, you've got the rose bundle here, haven't you, with the lovely pinks going through. Was that any more difficult than it would be for these pieces that have real sort of definition and real sort of defined areas in them?
It's...
or just the same kind of principle?
It is the same principle, but it gives a real... different fabrics, I mean, can change the look completely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not trimmed this one down yet.
So no different doing plains versus patterns?
No, not particularly.
Cool.
It's all the same technique.
Lovely.
Right, shall I get going?
Let's start.
Okay.
Let's start. I'm all eyes. In
the book, they have the templates for the squares and the strips that join onto them.
I'll find the project in the book as well.
For ease and making quilts, I decided not to use the template. I decided to use the big ruler and subcut and work it out that way.
Okay.
So instead of cutting out a template and marking them on and cutting them individually, I've cut a strip out here. These, I think probably the measurements were originally done in centimetres and they've been converted into inches.
Yeah.
They have both measurements. So these, when you add a 1/4 inch seam allowance, these squares, before they're cut, before they're stitched, the unfinished size is sort of a skinny 1 3/4. So not quite 1 3/4, but there or thereabouts. So that's what I did. I just cut slightly shy of the 1 3/4. So that's 1 3/4 strip, and then with a smaller ruler and a rotary cutter, I just subcut into squares.
Okay, right.
It's much faster, and there are quite a few of these to cut out.
Yeah.
So for me, that was the speedier, and that's the way I'm used to with quilting, is using a rotary cutter and a ruler. So I tackled it that way and did the same. These sections that join onto the squares are sort of a skinny inch, unfinished.
Okay, right.
And then when you have your squares, you can plan them out, and I just went for a random, scattered sort of selection. There's
Looks good though, doesn't it?
It does. I think. I mean, I love the way these colours work together. There are more options in there are more colours, different fabrics in this bundle than that one. But I think they both work. I can't decide which is my favourite.
Yeah. No, I can
like
see
them both,
why.
but in different ways.
Yeah, definitely. Right.
So, and this, I will confess, I stitched these. Each one, I did one piece incorrectly and had to unpick it and stitch it. So it's a really good idea, actually, to draw out how the squares fit together.
Right.
I'll explain myself. I'll go for a more comprehensive explanation.
Right, go on.
Move that out of the way. So I've got my squares, and I joined... There are 3 rows of squares that have 5 squares in.
Right.
So I made those first. Really simply, just stitching along, all the way along until I had a strip. This is one of the 4 square rows.
Okay, right, yes.
So we have 3 5-square rows in the centre and staggered, so each square, sort of next one in. How am I... Right.
So they're lining up?
They're not perfectly lined up in a rectangle.
Oh, they're slightly...
You stagger,
like a staircase.
You move over each time.
Right.
With one.
See, yes.
And then, do they go there like that? So even now I have to think, have I got this right? There we go. And if you've sketched it out, you know you're putting the squares in the right place, because I think for this one, I had it down here and it would never trim up to the right size. So it does take a bit of thought to make sure they're definitely lining up. There is a picture in the book to follow.
Do you know what? I found it. I'm sorry. I'm half listening to you and I was half looking for the page and I found it. I found it. Hooray! So there you go. So there is the... And there will be templates in the back as well for this.
There are.
And it does give you... and on this one, they've put a monogram there on the front, haven't they? Rather than leaving it plain. they've put somebody's initials on there, like you do. Now the next. Is this what you meant up here?
Yes.
Yes.
Now the templates are laid out so you would have pretty much exactly a rectangle, but it's quicker if you cut these strips. These are the skinny inch strips, and I've just stitched them on either side of my rows. I'll do that with this one. Just stitched a strip on that's slightly longer, just to make sure I've definitely got enough fabric to play with. So I'll stitch this on with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then, because they're not perfect following the templates, you do have to think a bit more about placement and making sure that you will be able to cut that rectangle out of it.
Okay, right, yes.
So this is the finished one. I think it was this piece I stitched down, so that square lined up with that one, and I looked at it for a bit and thought, that's
not right.
Not right, no.
It's fun, though. These colours just go so well together, don't they? In fact, you've got the details on the screen there for the rose bundle, which is lovely. And all of the pinks actually come from the fat quarter bundle there. Did you use the whole of the fat quarter in each colour?
I've used all of the colours, but you only need one strip subcut of each, so you have plenty left over, so you could make...
of each fat quarter?
Of each fat quarter, so you could maybe make a purse to go in the bag, or even you could add you couldn't add a pocket because it's quilted, and then you'd see the stitching on the outside. There's all sorts of bits and pieces you could make to go in the bag to coordinate with it.
Wow, we did add a zip in the bag in the last hour. There was a way of doing a letterbox way of doing that.
That's my favourite way.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their favourite way of adding a zip,
letterbox. Actually, you two are a match made in heaven today. Actually, everything you've done is coordinated with each other. Good work. There was no pre-planning there, was there? There was no conferring.
So instead of cutting the strips to exact sizes, I've just cut them slightly longer. And for me, it's just a quicker and easier way of doing it. But at the same time, you can lose track a little bit of what goes where.
Just to let you know, because you will need, if you want to make your bag exactly the same as this one here that Joe has made, you will need one of these buckles, and they are already very, very popular, let me tell you. They are flying out of the door. I don't know if we've not had them before or something like that, but they are proving very, very popular. And I'll just visually show you this, because obviously it's almost sort of too... I almost need to take that off, really, don't I? Let's take this off. Oh, I can't use your scissors for that, can I? Don't use those scissors. Have we got any other scissors that I can just snip this off with? I'll just put it off the packet. On either side, you've got to ignore the little white plastic bits for a second, because they're from the packaging. So you've got two sort of oval, what would be D-rings, and then the centre is essentially a huge senorita clasp, like you see in jewellery sometimes, and it's spring-loaded in the centre. They are proving very, very popular indeed in that antique brass finish. £5.50. There's a lot of those in baskets, so if I can ask you to check them out as soon as you can, they are brilliant. And they are from Prim as well, so we trust them for lots of accessories that go with bags as well.
I think it would be really nice for a belt as well, sort of a decorative belt. I really like that clasp.
Yeah, or actually, it could even be a shoulder decoration on a top or a jumper or something like that. I mean, you know, people often do that kind of thing. Right. Where next?
Right. So, done the central panel, the 5 square pieces, put the strips in between, and they're staggered so that because they're going to be on point, the bottom of the square is going to be sort of the upright.
Right, so you can follow through from the point of that one
all the way
in
up.
A straight line all the way through. I see.
So I'm going to... These sections are slightly different, so I'll show up how I put these together with pins, which I'm not a big pin user, but for this, when you join these together, you want these sections to line up, to follow on. Otherwise, you'll notice it's slightly off.
Okay.
So I'm going to line those up, pin that on, and then stitch that in place.
Because you are looking blind through a couple of different layers, so that's why you would just want that extra... I just know it's right if I've pinned it there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you want them to line up. So you do get that sort of lattice. Look, is that the right word?
Yeah, it's almost like a weave, almost, isn't it? I suppose, like a basket weave, a little bit, isn't it? It's very clever. And again, it's one of those things that's easier to do than explain to somebody else, isn't it?
Yes. I never quite have the words. And as a start, I think, oh, this is making things more confusing.
No, it's not.
I'll try.
No, it's not, honestly.
Because I'm trying to demystify this pattern.
Yeah.
There we go. So hopefully, when I take this apart... And with piecing like this, I just use a smaller stitch length, don't reverse backwards and forwards at the ends. But they line up pretty well. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Look good.
So with these two sections, one has to line up with that bottom one, and one has to line up with that top square. And then you should be able, from that, to cut a rectangle, which will form this sort of rectangular panel down here.
Oh, OK. Right, yes. So it's difficult to see because it is swiveled, so to speak, at the moment. But essentially, this is probably the easiest way of showing you this. Sorry, that was my microphone. There you go. There you go. So it ends up making a patchworked rectangle at the end. And then, of course, when you clasp it, that's what's creating the swivel, isn't it? Have I done that the right way? Yes. There you go. See, I haven't had that many handbags ever. Have I done that right? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I've decided to cut down on them. I've overspent, you know.
Too many handbags.
Absolutely. Right, where are we?
So I'm going to sew these together now. So I'll pin so that these sections line up.
Yes.
But yes, this one lines up with that end, this one lines up with that end. But yes, I did have to draw it out a couple of times after making mistakes to make sure I had these in the right place.
So essentially what we're going to end up with is this twice over?
Yes.
OK.
And with this bag as well, I think with anything in this book, sort of quilted, any of these quilted items, my advice would be don't have a deadline in mind. So enjoy the process and taking it slowly. It's not the sort of thing to rush. Because I had to speed through this so that it would be ready for today. And actually, I would really have liked to have been able to take a bit more time and enjoy it because it's quite a nice... There's quite a lot of work in it.
It does look good. It's how we get from this to rectangular that interests me as well.
Right,
a nice little process, this. And again, so many different fabrics you could use as well, isn't there? So many different fabrics. Beautiful.
Right, I'll sew this one on. But there are also all sorts of different techniques in this bag. There's this piecing, the patchwork on the sides, and then the quilting. And the book tells you how to quilt it. So I mean, you could do your own design. I followed the one outlined in the book. So I've quilted with grid squares.
Yeah. Let me find the instruction. Oh, the buckle that we were just showing you, the big Senorita clasp is pretty much sold out and gone already. Here's the instructions in the book, which is called Quilted Bags and Gifts, and there are lots and lots of different projects in that bag. Oh, hang on, I've got the wrong page. Oh, no, I have got that. Yes, it's the left-hand page. Sorry, the instruction is on the left-hand page, sorry. There are 36 projects in here. So where it comes to quilting, I think the instruction for the quilting is up here and through this section. And actually on theirs, they've added an applique letter A.
I've put an applique letter A on that one as well.
Oh, you have as well?
But I did it in the same...
You did?
I didn't want it to compete with the patchwork.
It's in disguise.
It is.
Do you know, we hadn't even noticed. To my great shame, I hadn't noticed. I'm so sorry, Jo.
For once, I went for subtlety.
Look, there it is. Director Mike trying to curry favour with you, saying, I noticed, Jo.
Thanks, Mike.
You so didn't, Mike. You so didn't. Just to talk about the book again for a second, there's lots and lots and lots of different projects in there. There's a nice glasses case project in there. There's an appliqued Boston bag. So if you want to go to much more ambitious projects, as well. Not that this isn't ambitious. I mean, it's going to take a wee while, isn't it, this one, to get through?
It is.
But if you wanted to step things up a gear, this is the kind of thing that's in the book there. It's really good, isn't it? The glasses case up here is really, really smart. Really, really smart. Should we have a little... Let's have a little flick forward and see what else. You've got methods in there as well, of course, cutting instructions, etc., with each project. So it's quite... The instruction that you get is actually quite comprehensive. That's a nice-looking bag as well, isn't it? Because that really does look like... you know, there are suppliers that you go to at the moment when you want to buy something that doesn't look like it came out of every high street store. You know the kind of suppliers I'm talking about. That's the kind of look you'd expect to see with a supplier like that. It's a brilliant book. It's called Quilted Bags and Gifts, and it's only £12.95, and there are so many different projects in there as well. I don't know where, I'll just put it there. Right, OK, I'll shut up again now.
OK,
so how do we turn this into a... We need to turn this into a rectangle, do we?
We do. I'm going to give it a bit of a press.
OK.
And then I'll give it a trim. Remove these squares.
Oh, we're ironing on the cutting mat again, but never mind. Don't worry. It's telly. Speed.
I'll be brief.
OK. Get the big iron this time.
And press the seams however you want to. I've pressed them towards the printed fabric or the squares. I've printed the fabric that does the squares. I say printed, and this one isn't at all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just give it a good...
That's lovely.
There we go. It does look like, Wendy was saying before, in the office, it looks like Turkish Delight squares.
Great, isn't it? Oh, do you want... Are we done with the other one?
We're done. I gave the other one a press before.
OK, cool. Lovely.
I know it says in the pattern to trim to a specific size. I think it's 12 inches by 5 1/4. Mm-hmm. Now, when I did them before, I took great care to make sure this central column was really in the centre, and so that it was even either side. But then on reflection, once I started working with it, because, if I turn this round, this section is pieced with a 1/4 inch seam. Actually, what would look best is you choose which side is going to join the central panel, and then cut so that the points fall a 1/4 inch from where you've cut, so that when you sew them on, you'll get your points on these squares in the right place.
OK, right.
So I'll do that.
Which
so don't worry about this side, because you will lose some in the turn at the join here anyway, so you don't need your points to be spot on that side.
Alrighty.
So we have a rule here, and I'm just going to line up this 1/4 inch line with the points. There we go. There we go, and then trim it down. This always makes me a little bit nervous. Just going to check it's all running nicely.
It's all good. The nation is feeling your tension.
It's very stressful cutting through anything.
No pressure.
I just want to check with the other lines that they are running parallel.
Yeah.
So I'll just make sure that's all pretty much in order. Just going to adjust it slightly here and there. There we go. So that's straight. And then these bits, missed a section there. Go in the bin.
Bin? Bin? Did she say bin? She didn't say bin, did she? You didn't say bin, Joe Carter, did you?
I did.
Sorry. I didn't think fabric people had bins. I thought they just had other areas.
There we go. So I'll trim this up. And again, with the top, think about the binding and if you want the points to fall on. Also check that you are going to get... I've cut this a little bit too far in, I think. We want the binding just to leave the points visible at the top there. I've got 12. And this bottom corner here, if you end up with some missing, just add there'll be some leftover strips.
Add a bit that you were going to throw into the bin.
Add a little bit. Maybe go into the bin.
Which is why you shouldn't have a bin in the first place. Right, let me show you some leather handles while we're... let me show you Marie. Is this Marie?
That way,
I thought Marie was the last. Yes, Marie is. Wasn't Marie the last hour? Don't we mean... Oh, Laura's the other one, that's right. Yes, these are Marie. These are the leather ones. Now, these are the most popular handles because Jo has used them on her finish make here as well. So these are the leather handles. They're beautifully piped as well. Real leather, £19.95. Very, very popular indeed. That is Marie. There is also Clara and Laura. Why do they give them ladies' names, Jo?
I'm not sure. So, I don't know.
Strange, isn't it?
Yes,
I mean, nice names, albeit, but, you know, odd thing to call two handles for a handbag, isn't it?
Yes.
Laura.
Of course, that handle looks like a Laura, yeah.
Yeah. So now you're adding a bit back in.
Just this bottom corner. There wasn't quite enough, so I'll just add a little bit more on. I think I've cut them to the correct size. Obviously, in the pattern, it gives you the correct size. I'm doing this a bit from memory.
Yeah.
But I just add that on and then trim that up again. But I'll leave that for the moment and go to this one.
It does. Actually, when it is a rectangle, it takes on a completely different look. Because I was thinking, I'm listening to Paul is sharing with me his every inner thought. And, no, it's good, because at the same time I was thinking, and probably you were thinking at home as well, when we were starting, we were thinking, now how does that come to looking as sophisticated as it does? But it's worth doing all of that prep work ahead, because it really does pay off, doesn't it?
It does. And actually, this one, I think I've cut slightly too slim. I think I cut it in the wrong place. So measure twice, cut once.
Yeah. Measure twice, cut once.
It's live TV.
Of course it is. It's fine. And it doesn't matter. I mean, just the method that we've learnt there, actually, you can put into practice in many other different ways, quite aside this handbag project.
But they really look, you really get that weave sort of look once they're trimmed up.
It's really rich, isn't it? Sorry.
Sorry, I don't
No, you're all right, it's fine.
I've got the rotary cutter, I'm sort of armed and dangerous. There we go. So I've cut this one properly.
That's beautiful.
See, I can add this scrap on the end. So I'm being resourceful there.
There's no bin.
I do, normally I save everything. I have an enormous scraps.
She says that
box.
now. She says that now.
I do.
Found a pin.
Trim these corners. Might just use
I'm going to, actually, while you're doing that, while you're trimming, I'm going to just go through all the bundles again, actually, because I think, actually, a lot of you will want the rows as well now, won't you? Should we start with the rows, actually? Oh, actually, start with this one, Iris. Just because, actually, yes, we've the pre-made finished one is this one. The one we're doing now is this one. So let's show you the third, just so she doesn't get left in the dark. So on this one, it is a metre each of your dark green and your mocha, which, again, are a really nice sort of muted pair. And then when you bring in the fat quarters, you start seeing all of the personality with the teals and turquoises and blues and even a lovely sort of soft white there, plus the thread there as well. So that's RQGC88. Again, enough fabric in that bundle to make this swivel tote bag that we're making right now. The next one I will show you is the one Jo made, pre-made. Yeah, so this is the one that Jo has fully made up before the show. And this is lovely. So this is the red and the blue. And the patchwork she's made, obviously, from the fat quarters that come with this. And the fat quarters are just, oh, I just want to rip this open. It's just delicious because you've got this wonderful sort of mesmerising, almost sort of polka dot, but it's quite mesmerising, isn't it? It's really, really lovely. And then you've got these florals as well. So on a navy background, you've got this lovely bright floral. Again, you've got the polka on a green background, and then you've got the florals on a black background, and then you've got the polka on a red background, and then floral on the red background as well. It's really, really lovely. It's one of the most popular bundles we have this morning, actually. £29.45. YOGC22 is the code for that one. And then the one that we're doing right now, which actually, I have to say, when I initially looked at the fat quarter bundle on this one, I'm just going to be quite honest with you, I wasn't wildly excited about the colours that were in it. But actually, when you see what Jo has done, making that lovely sort of basket weave from them, now I'm super excited. But sometimes when you see the fat quarter bundle on its own, you think, oh, well, you know, I've seen a lot like it. I don't know whether I'm that excited about it. But when you see the way that Jo has worked it together for the sides of the bag, then suddenly it comes to life in a different way. So on this one, you've got your chocolate and cappuccino 1 metres, plus your fat quarter bundles, which are all of these different sort of raspberries and deep and then lighter pinks, and then these lovely sort of creamy tonal colours that go with the chocolate and the cappuccino, plus the thread there as well. HIGC 77, and that's the one that we're working with right now. And if I zip back over, I just want to show you again. In fact, I'm going to bring the fat bundle, the fat quarter bundle with me. Fat bundle. Now, look, when you look at the fat quarter bundle for this one, maybe you were the same, Jo, I don't know, but actually when you look at that fat quarter bundle on its own, you think, well, you know, it's nice, but it's not eye-poppingly wonderful, wonderfully exciting. You probably find, if that was in a store, you probably find something that was much more exciting than it. But when you look at it created into this patchwork for the ends of the bags, it looks blooming spectacular, doesn't it?
It does, and seeing it on the monitor as well. Yeah. It does, it's really effective.
It's like a work of art.
And so I trimmed before, as I said, leaving sort of a 1/4 inch from these points, just to try and get the points on the edges here lined up for this patchwork. So I'll pop this one on as well, but I did trim one a bit short. I went for the wrong, I was working from the wrong set of points.
All right.
So
it's all right. I've had a morning of it this morning. These experts. Carolyn Suffolk says, hey, you'll like this, Jo, despite you cutting short there, she says, best SQ ever.
Fab.
There you go. That's high praise indeed. Thank you, Carol. That's very kind of you. If you want to get in touch, there's still time. We've still got, what, 25 minutes or so? studio@sewingquarter.com is our email address. Here it is in full, glorious, sort of colour. White and another colour. Studio@sewingquarter.com, or if you're watching on the website, down there somewhere, is it? Down there somewhere, there's a little message box where you can send a message through to little Paul in the gallery. Right then.
So I'm just joining the other patchwork panel on.
The long side.
This might be the short side. It's very difficult remembering, and yeah.
There's a lot going on.
It's a really good tip is to have the instructions open right in front of you.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yes, I can't rely on my own mind.
As luck would have it, I've got all of the instructions here. Although actually it's probably more use if you have them than I have them, Jo, in fairness. Because to me they could be written in Swahili. But now you've shown me, it makes a lot more sense. So it does come, the book does come with the full instructions for this project as well. So page 42 is the one that you're looking for. And it will take you through all of the bits and pieces, including, a nice sort of plan. You can see where we've just been looking at these three together, haven't we, with Jo? And then on the next page, it takes you through completely and utterly. Classic bowling bag. Do people have bowling bags, Jo?
I like a bowling bag. You can get a lot in a bowling bag. I mean, I don't have a bowling ball in it. I'd
right,
like to stress.
See, that's where my head was. My head was thinking all these people wandering around with bowling balls. Like they were a pro of some sort.
Crown green or 10-pin.
Well, either, I suppose. If it's crown green, you'd need more than one, though, wouldn't you? If you're 10-pin bowler, you only need one. You like the Whopper, don't you?
Yeah. It must be a 10-pin bag, then.
Which just reminds me, it's conker time soon, isn't it?
It is.
I've got a big conker tree in my garden. That's why I thought of that. I don't think I need a bag for my conkers, though.
Do you not know?
Well, they're not that big, you see. And I don't need to carry that many. Anyway.
Just a pocket.
So, where were we?
We've joined those on.
We have, yes. The long and the short.
Yes. I've got
Fabulous.
the points.
Good.
They're pretty much matching up. And I think the key to design is working within, limits, and limit was my mistake. But to compensate, I would just trim it down. Because I'm only losing a fraction. I'd trim the back as well. You wouldn't notice half an inch lost over the overall bag. I think work within... Am I throwing pins around? I think it's a pin.
It was that pin. It was that pin that I picked up just a minute ago. It's back again. Get in there. Right. OK, so now we have so this is the...
This is the back, technically.
Yes.
With this one, I went for a contrast fabric.
Yes, so it's one right the way across the back. So it's the back and sides.
That's the back, but then these sections fold over, so you get that flash of patchwork on the front.
Yeah.
And with this one, I went for a different fabric to the strips in between the squares, whereas this, I've tried it all in one.
On the same.
It gives it a slightly different look.
That's so sophisticated, that look as well. That's the reason why this... I mean, again, let me show you from wherever you want to look at. But if you look at the fat quarter bundle itself and what it has transformed into as a result of this work, it's honestly, it's incredible. I mean, look at that. I mean, that on face value, and again, I'm not knocking it at all, but to me, it wasn't the most incredibly exciting fat quarter bundle I'd ever seen, because I'm more attracted to, florals and stripes and this, that, and the other. But actually, they're all solids, and it's transformed to this really, really sophisticated look that once we've quilted it all up, because we are quilting from here as well, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes. So
we quilt straight through, so the inside of the bag, you get the quilting, the other side of... A lot of the time, it would be lined, so you wouldn't see the back.
Oh, right. I'll show you. I'll dive in again. Just take this stuffing out. I'm not getting in. But you can see, yes, this is quilted all the way through. So you can see the quilting on the inside as well. It's very luxurious, isn't it?
It does give a luxurious feel, I think, quilting.
Nice. Lovely. You could add that foam that we did in the last hour as well. Could you add that to this bag if you wanted to give it more rigidity and structure? We had it here earlier. It's like rolls of thin foam.
Did it press on?
No, not that one. No. That wasn't interfacing. It was like a foam.
But I think the foam would give it a really nice structure. I don't know. Yeah, I think it would still drape on the front because the clasp has a bit of weight to it. So I think it would still cause it to drape.
I'll go and get it from the last hour and show you, and then you can let us know what you think. Right, what are we doing next?
OK, for the applique letter, I've gone again, so it's subtle in the same fabric, but you could use a darker thread to sort of bring it out around the edges.
I wonder why it has an A.
I don't know why.
Swivel tote bag. There's no clue in the name.
My son
Maybe it is an
wants
initial.
it because his name begins with an A.
Right.
So, is it for me? No, I don't.
Oh.
I had to let him down gently.
How old is he?
10.
OK.
There we go. So I've just folded it in half and finger pressed a crease just so I know where the centre is. And I've used Bondaweb iron-on adhesive for these.
OK.
It's my favourite way to do applique. I just think you can get it locked into place.
Now, someone's having a problem with Laura, did I hear? Oh, if you're trying to order Laura, which is the leather handles... No, not that one. Because that's Alice, isn't it? Is it Alice? Marie. Thank you. But if you're trying to order Laura, apparently we can only take orders via the telephone for that. There's some didgeridoo with the web thingy with Laura. Tell Laura I love her. So the code is, I'll bring it up, VBPH59 for the Laura bags. They're the pleather ones with the almost sort of lobster locks on them. This is that foam I was talking about, Jo.
Ah, oh, I've used something similar to this in the past. Yes, that would give it really nice structure.
Yes. So you could use that on this as well.
I think you could quilt it with that, definitely.
Yeah, because it would enhance the quilting a little bit give the bag a bit more...
Yes, a bit more
whatever that means.
It was oomph before, wasn't it?
Yeah, oomph. Bit more oomph. So there's the details for that. It's a 1 metre length of that. It's the Visaline... I can never say that word.
No, I can't either. I'm not going to help out, sorry.
It's that word. Yes. Visaline, foamed, lightweight. You know what it is. Right.
Right, so going to position the letter on. Is the iron still on?
Yeah. Do you want the doodah?
Please, if that's...
Because, you know, we'll get told off if we don't use it.
Thank you.
Oh, do you have to iron it first and then...
I have this one. I obviously hadn't let the iron warm up, so this one's not quite stuck properly. So I'll pop the adhesive back on. There we go. And the letter, I can't
you all done?
No, I'm going to press
the
letter in place now. I think it's 1.5 inches up from the bottom. I'm going to do it at that height, but I would check in the instructions.
So have a look.
It might not be, but I'll go for it.
Yeah, why not? Let's go for it. Applique, use the template. Quilt with 3/4.
Does it show the...
Use the technique. Sew pieces A to Z together. Bias bind. Actually, no, it doesn't actually...
Is there a picture?
Oh, yes, 4 centimetres, 1.5 inches.
1.5 inches.
Tell you what, your memory's amazing.
Isn't it? There we go.
Oh, yes, let me show you the... Oh, yes, right. OK, thank you, Mike. Yes, I've clipped... I knew something went wrong the last time I clipped the bag up. Thank you, team. I clipped it up the wrong way. So we were missing your surreptitious A. It's quite subtle, isn't it? See, on the design, it's as bold as brass. But because Jo has created it in the same fabric, it's like Agent A. There you go. Very good.
But you could bring this out more with... Let's see, I think... Are
you done?
Yes, I'm done with the iron now. I don't think the thread's too dark, so...
OK.
We'll see. Shall we see which...
There's going to be another one in disguise, isn't it?
It will. Shall I put the... I'll stick in the white will show up, I
It's
think.
fine. No, it's fine. Go for it.
And I'm going to go for... What stitch should I choose? Do you know what? I'm going to stick with the straight stitch just for speed. Otherwise, I can never make a decision. But on that one, I used a blanket stitch.
Oh, you did, actually. Yes, that did help the outline, actually, didn't it?
But just applique the letter on, however. I'll just do this for speed. And then once this is secured into place, it's time to quilt both the front and the back panel. Mm-hmm. Cheats a little bit. But I don't know whether there are different templates in the back of the book for different letters, or if you wanted to make it... I mean, it'd be a beautiful way to personalise a bag if you wanted to give it as a gift.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Which project was it? There's lots of... Actually, it's lots of... Oh, wow. No, you say that. I think there's only a template for the letter A. Mm-hmm. We only have a letter A. That's fine. Because most people can draw capital letters anyway, can't they?
You can print them off.
Yeah.
Just pop the font size to extra large and print one off.
Oh, that's a good idea, yeah. Hawaiian carry-all. There's lots of different projects in this book, by the way. Sorry, I'm loving this book. It's great. There's lots going on in there. Two-way hexagon purse. Dancing tulips bucket bag. Bucket bag. Wow. Honestly. You ladies are a revelation, aren't you? Bucket bag. Bowling bag, bucket bag, swivel tote, city shopper. There's a bucket bag. That's nice with the tulips on the front, isn't it?
I have just sped through that just to secure it into place.
No, that's all right. $12.95 for the book, by the way. It's got 36 different projects in it. Lovely. Well, I've got some good news for you, by the way, as well. So for when we go, for when we're not here anymore, there's still something for you to go and look at and see. And I'll tell you about that in a moment.
I'm sorry, I've not pressed my lining beforehand, so it is a little bit creased. My
Honestly.
next... when you come to do the quilting,
yes.
the cutting list says to cut the lining to a specific size, and the size it gives you is the exact finished size. Mm-hmm. And I did that with mine, but with the process of quilting, it did mean that it slipped. You get some movement between even with a walking foot, you get some movement between the top and the bottom layer.
OK.
So I added 2 inches to each of the measurements, so I've got...
On the lining?
On the lining only,
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
okay.
the front and back, let's see which is the wider one.
So that allows it to creep back in?
Yes.
Yeah.
So with one of them, with the front, it has a slightly wider lining piece because there's a clever way. So I've done it quite a bit bigger just because it's only a little bit of extra fabric in the grand scheme, but at the end, if you find you've come up a little bit short, I mean, you can bind the edges inside, but it can be a bit frustrating.
Yeah, but it's easier to take away than add.
It is. So if you cut the wadding to size, with the lining a little bit bigger, and to base these together, I would then, on my cutting mat, exactly like this, I would tape them down. I'd give them a good press first to get rid of any creases. Tape them down with some masking tape and then layer it up. You want the extra at the bottom more than at the top because that edge will be cut and then bound. So pop that on there.
So we've got about 5 minutes.
Right, I'll go through I'll do the highlights.
All right.
Because... maybe made that sound more exciting. There we go. So I tape that down, layer those up, and then with safety pins, base them together, and then start the quilting. Yeah. Now, for me, as I always have my trusty waterproof marker. It tells you how to quilt these pieces, and it says to do a grid, I think 2 centimetres, which is 3/4 of an inch, is it? Yeah. Squares. With a ruler like this, you'll have the 45-degree angle on it. I'll go from this corner. So I'd line up the 45-degree angle. I'll go from the very corner. And then draw a line. Now, you can just draw the one line, and then you use your quilting guide. If you have on your machine, you have a quilting bar that you can set to 2 centimetres, you could do that, or you could just mark the entire grid out with one of these pens because it will disappear later. And when you're quilting in a grid, it's 3/4 of an inch, do the lines going all one way first. Don't do a couple of lines going that way and then think you build it up. Start in the centre.
Oh, so you wouldn't make a cross both ways and then work your way out from that?
No, because you have chance then you'll end up, as they cross, you'll end up with fabric here that sort of, you have more fabric on the top than the bottom. You'll end up getting puckers and...
wrinkles.
So keep it nice and smooth and start from the centre. So mark a few lines, so you've got the centre one, and work out one way and then out the other, and keep it nice and smooth and flat as you work. So putting that first direction of lines on, if you've got that right, it should be then really easy to pop them going the other way. But definitely lines one way first and then do the ones that sort of bisect them, is that the right?
Intersect.
Yes. Cross over.
Well, do you know, I'm not sure about that word. Bisect.
Bisect? Maybe I've made it up.
Dissect? No, not dissect. That's taking things apart, isn't it? Intersect?
I do.
Cross?
Yes.
Let's just say cross.
Yes. But also with your quilting, you can carry on onto this fabric because it's this piece that when you layer up, pretend this one's quilted.
Yeah.
Trim this one to size apart from at the bottom, leave your extra at the bottom, but trim the sides. Because when these are stitched together, so down here, you then press over this and wrap it over the seam. I've got some extra there, so I think you trim it to 3/4 of an inch, it might be. It says in the instructions. But then once you... Because this would have the back on it, so you wouldn't have these raw edges.
Yeah.
Fold these over, hand sew down there, and that seals in all your raw edges inside the bag. A really nice, neat finish.
Yeah.
But if you've got more lining than you need, you'll definitely have then more fabric at the sides, because I came a bit short on one side, so it was quite a tight finish trying to get that over to seal in the raw edges. And then it's the same with the bottom. It says to cut the base of the bag, lining and exterior piece to the same size. Again, I'd cut the lining larger so that even if you pinned it really well, there would still be a little bit of movement and you'd have to trim it down.
Yeah.
And then this bottom section, so it's been left on this side and the other one, you can then fold that one over the base. And then all your seams are beautifully sealed in.
We've just got to see this the right way up again, because I just honestly, that is the genius masterpiece of today, isn't it?
It is, and it's such a beautiful design of bag that you have those stripes on the back, but then they fold round. It sort of closes the bag for safety.
But also brings that beautiful patchwork forward as well, doesn't it?
It does.
And that
It's
really
such a
is
nice
lovely.
design.
And again, if I just open that up very, very briefly, because you might think, oh, actually, it doesn't look very big, that bag. But that's just when it's closed. Excuse me. When you open it up, I mean, there's so much space in this bag. It's untrue. It's beautiful. It really is. And remember, maybe that's why the A goes there, so you know which way to correctly bring it to close it. Maybe that's why there's a feature. It doesn't have to be an A. You could do whatever you like. You put a little robin on there, or a frog, or... Well, not a frog, but whatever you wanted to, you could put onto the front of that very, very easily.
These tabs for the fastener,
Yeah.
I added at the very end. So I made the tabs. I think there was a 4x4 square, which I pressed in, like binding.
From the fat quarters.
Made that loop, and I stitched it, machine stitched it onto the outside at the end. If you wanted, you could put those loops in this seam here, so that they're done in the end.
That's lovely. Jo, thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
As ever, lovely to see you. When are you back?
I'm back this weekend.
Oh, you are, aren't you? I've seen an advert. Yes, absolutely. We'll have a lovely weekend. I will see you soon. I've got to run this way. Just to show you. Oh, now remember, we are leaving you in just a few minutes' time for the day. But what you want to do as soon as we come off air is go straight to the website right now, because there is an absolutely brilliant offer on sale items at the moment. Now, the sale items are already at sale prices, but if you use the code EXTRA25 right now, and this is just on the sales items, whatever the percentage is already off, EXTRA25 will get you another quarter off the sale price already discounted. Does that sound more complicated than it is? All it means... Well, can you click the sale tab, Paul? We'll press that tab there and shop sale. Look, so there's 10% off all of those fabrics already. And if you use EXTRA25 when you check it... Oh, that's nice. If you used... Oh, right, look, there's 25% off that one. So that one there is now 25% off, but if when you add that to your basket and check out, you put in the discount code EXTRA25, that's exactly what it will do. It'll take another 25% off that price already, which is brilliant. So make sure you go and check that out. That's on the sale items at the moment. Remember, you spell out the word extra and then 25, the numbers. It's already time for the menu for tomorrow. Now, it's John tomorrow, isn't it? John's back tomorrow, isn't it? We probably pass each other today, actually, because he's up in York today and I'm down here, so we might cross each other later. So, coming up tomorrow with John, it's Fun with Fabric. All My Heart quilt at 8 o'clock. Blue Rhapsody at 9 o'clock. There's a Simply Sewing bag at 10 a.m. and it's Blue Rhapsody at 11 a.m. Who's in tomorrow, do we know? Jess Entwistle is in with John tomorrow from 8 a.m. Wow, 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 wow. Please do remember to check out your baskets as well. So if you've got anything in your web basket right now, do check it out. Although, I would go and have a look at the sale tab first and see if there are any bargains you can grab there. And don't forget to use that extra 25 code to get you even more discount on those sale items. It's been lovely to have your company today. I have been Derek, if you've enjoyed the show. And I've been Malcolm, if you've hated it. Listen, I will be back on the Great British Sewing Bee weekend with you, actually, which I think is the 21st, 22nd, something like that. I'll be back with you then. John back with you at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful day, whatever you're up to. Take care. Bye-bye.
Don't forget, shopping with us is easy and simple. You can just contact us at 0800 112 4433 and speak to our UK-based call centre to place an order, or shop online with us at www.sewingquarter.com.